guy, and it's I always like to pick your brain about what each game or each week presents. It was senior night. We got to see Brett Glass, the head coach of Jonathan Alder, salute each senior as they came across the field, their final home regular season game here at Performance Stadium. It could also be the final game for Bellefontaine seniors tonight in their football careers, depending on how this game goes. If Bellefontaine wins, they're playoff bound, but I think they have to win. So it's a big game for both teams. Alder's 8-1. Maybe, according to some of the experts this summertime, they've overachieved. Brett Glass didn't think so, but last year they kind of had an un-Alder-like season at 5-6. They're traditionally a power in so many sports. The Chiefs have been up and down. They're 5-4, but they have won 3 out of their last 4. I think we're in for a good football game tonight. What do you foresee?
Well, I think on paper, certainly Jonathan Alder comes in as the favorite. The pundits at fantastic50.net, which is the computer, so who might argue with that, has Jonathan Alder as a strong favorite based upon the 8-1 record. Chiefs come in at 5-4. If you look recently, though, look no further than last week, Jonathan Alder had their hands absolutely full with Kenton Ridge. Kenton Ridge goes for 2 to try to force overtime. They squeak out a win on the road at KR, and that's the same KR team that a few weeks ago Bellefontaine was able to beat. So if you believe in that kind of comparison, we may be in for a whale of a game tonight.
Chiefs are a young team. They've been kind of in transition. When I think of Alder, and we've seen them in the CBC for a while now, you've coached in this game, usually very fundamentally sound, well coached. They just play the game the right way. They run it pretty well. They pass it well. They play defense well. And I've been impressed with Bellefontaine the last few weeks that they've kind of gritted out some victories. I thought they played maybe their best game of the year last week with their Bandit in town for senior night. The Chiefs played the ball in the defensive backfield as well as they played it in years. I thought they were brilliant in the back half. So I think Bellefontaine has kind of grown here. So they put themselves in a position to extend their season if they can perform well tonight.
Yeah, I agree on the Bellefontaine front. I think that the win over Kenton Ridge, a game in which you lose Carter Caudill late in the game, and they hang on for a huge win at home, and then again 2 weeks later back at home in the rivalry game against Urbana, and they withstand a late rally by Grady Lance and the Hill Climbers. There was some drama there, obviously, at the end of the game with the injury to Colt Cotner that, he's now recovering, so we can't update on that. That was good news on that front, but that made the ending of that game difficult for various reasons, and probably not easy for me to come up with a season where the Chiefs had 2 more gritty wins in a 3-week window. I'm not saying they were the biggest wins I can remember, but to this team they were big, and they were games that could have gotten away from them, and they found a way to win. This is not a program that's played a lot of close games. We've talked about that. There's been a ton of blowouts, most of them wins over the last few years, a few losses in there too, but just not a lot of really close football games in the last 2 years, and those were 2 really close ones.
Thanks to Athletic Director Scott Rule for hosting us tonight. The press box is busy here at Jonathan Alder. The Alder band marching in front of us, getting ready for the national anthem in a moment. At that point, we will pause. It might be right now.
Jonathan Alder schools in our community are extremely grateful for the service of all our military family, past, present, and future.
Welcome back into our broadcast booth here at Jonathan Alder. The Pioneers 8-1 overall, 3-1 in the league. The Chiefs are 5-4, 3-1 in the league. And what kind of jump started this season for me, Rick, with Alder is Brett Glass came back. He coached here for 7 years, then left to be the head coach of Dublin Jerome for 4 years. And as soon as he comes back, Alder picks up big non-league wins. A close one against Bloom Carroll, who's a pretty big football school, a close one against Columbus Academy, and that got them really rolling. The only game they've lost this year was to London, and everybody in the CBC loses to London. Amazingly, the Red Raiders have not given up a point yet in league play, but I think the beginning of the year kind of laid the groundwork for this season for the Pioneers.
Yeah, you talked about Brent Glass coming back. I coached against Brent Glass in the late 2000s when, and the early, maybe till about, 2019, 2020. And had a heck of a run of success. Took Alder to the regional final, I believe, in 2019.
That is correct.
They lost a really tough game, if I remember right, to Bishop Hartley.
Yep.
Probably one of the better CBC teams that we've seen. Jackson Izzard, I want to say, was the wide receiver, one of the best receivers I've seen in this league's history. Big, tall guy that went on to play, I believe, at Miami of Ohio, at least for a spell. Yeah, Brent Glass goes to Jerome, does so there. I think 500 record over 4 seasons. And Snedeker was the head coach. I believe it was Nate Snedeker was the head coach the last 4 years. Alder slipped some. I have no idea why or how, but have had okay seasons the last few years, but not up to the standard they had kind of set early on when they came to the league in, I think, 2017. And Brent Glass looks like he's picked up right where he left off. And like you said, there at the beginning of the season, they played West Liberty Salem in week 1, which was an interesting game, and they kind of handled West Liberty. And then 2 tough games against Columbus Academy and Bloom Carroll. Those are both 7-2 football teams. Those were big wins, like you said. And they've been, taking care of business in the league. They have struggled a little bit, maybe more than I thought the last few weeks. Tecumseh hung around, and then Urbana gave them all they could want. And you mentioned the loss to London. And then Kenton Ridge pushed them, really to the final play of the game. So I don't know, what to quite expect out of Alder. You had mentioned what you see. What I saw on film against Kenton Ridge was a lot what I've seen out of Alder, which is solid football. Their offense is multi-approach. They really remind me, we've talked the last couple of years, especially when I was coaching, they look a lot like the offense Bellefontaine ran when I was coaching, and the offense that I called. They run a ton of zone inside, then they'll run jet, they'll run counter tray. They run a fair amount of screen passes, but then they will send the ball downfield. I think they do a good job attacking all fields. They'll run a lot of trips. They like to go run trips into the boundary. I'm a big fan of that. They'll play with that, what we call the sniffer, the fullback guy. They use him a ton. They'll run that slip pass that Bellefontaine's really perfected this year, where they'll play action and they'll send that wing back across and get him open into the flats. I'd look for that play early on. But it's a nice football team. They play sound defense. They rally to the football. A little careless with the ball at times. Two turnovers against Kenton Ridge were probably part of the story that they were in such a dogfight. But I really like their running back too, Cashin Wheeler. He's got 1,000 yards coming in, 154 carries, just over 1,000 yards, 11 touchdowns. Plus, he's got 500 yards through the air.
Yeah.
They're multifaceted. Brock Hughes, the quarterback, number 17, 169 of 277 for almost 2,000 yards, 20 touchdowns, 9 interceptions. So he will put the ball in jeopardy a little bit. You mentioned that Chieftain back half, going back to that win against Urbana. We both talked throughout the week kind of off air that I don't remember a better performance from the back half of the Chieftain defense than we saw against Urbana. Grady Lance put them under pressure multiple times, and they answered the bell, whether it was Spencer Stolley, Patrick Stolley, Sutton Daring, Carson Drake, the Board brothers, Jeffrey and Devin. Yep. I really liked how the Chiefs played, and doubling back again to how big those wins were. You sit here, Chiefs are 5-4. They've got a chance to make the playoffs. And really, as you go into a season, you got a bunch of goals. But one simple goal I always had every year was just, I want to play every game with something to play for. The worst part of coaching in high school football is the part of the season where you have nothing to play for. So I've been a part of teams where that started in like week 8, and those are tough years, finishing out weeks 8, 9, 10. And I've been a part of many teams where you had something to play for every week. So much easier to keep kids focused. keep their attention. The Chiefs have everything to play for tonight. They are 5-4. If they win this game tonight, they will get a boatload of points from an 8-win football team, and they will be in the Division III Region 12 first round of the playoffs, looking like projected to play at Oxford Talawanda. That's certainly not a set-in-stone thing. That's just what the computers project. But they have everything in front of them tonight, so there's no reason you got to get them fired up. But you look back at those 2 games against KR and Urbana, you realize how big those wins are. If you don't take care of business and win both of those games, you have nothing to play for tonight.
I'll give you we always talk Coach Reed's keys to the game. Mine's we're going to be a very short spiel here. It is stopping the run. If Alder's able to run the ball for, I'd say about 170 or more, I'm pretty confident they win. If Bellefontaine keeps under that, I think they're going to have a great chance to win the game. Stopping the run is paramount. I know Coach Glass is multidimensional. I know he throws it, but he's a smart coach. If the run is working, it's just going to go from, as the game goes on, I fear, from bad to worse. So the Bellefontaine run defense, to me, is the biggest key to this game.
I'm with you, Tips, 100% in agreement. As I look at their numbers, they have been equally effective through the air and on the ground. If I'm Brent Glass, I am going to test that run defense early and often. And does he stay committed to it? If the Chiefs, and the Chiefs have been scrappy. I really think we got to give credit to the defensive players and the defensive staff that they have fought. We've talked about this all season. There's no quick answers for a defense. A lot of times defense is about talent and effort and certainly discipline and tackling and stuff. But there was, especially when Carter Caudill goes out, there's no fix. Offensively, we've said you can do things different. You can become more pass heavy. You can run screens and things to try to catch people off. Defensively, you just lose your best playmaker. And I've been impressed by guys stepping up, doing what they can. Will Brent Glass say, we're going to run the ball, and even if you kind of slow us down early, we stick to it? We've seen a couple teams the Chiefs have faced this year that have not done that. I think Benjamin Logan in particular went to the air really early on Bellefontaine, and it bit them. And I think Urbana last week, not so much probably the air. I was wondering where those design runs were for Grady Lance. That was what I thought coming in was going to be what would cause the Chiefs the most problems. And we didn't see Urbana run a QB design run until well into the third quarter. And then they started doing it, and they started having success. So, yeah, if Jonathan Alder attacks Bellefontaine in a way that we think is probably the most effective, how do the Bellefontaine defenders react?
Well, the other thing about Alder, now I don't watch the film like Coach Reed here. They and this is kind of unusual, especially for the kind of program they've had. They start 4 sophomores on defense and a freshman corner. That's good and bad. They're going to be really good the next couple of years, I think. But to me, that's the kind of team you should be able to score at least a couple 3 touchdowns on.
Well, absolutely. And we've talked all year. This Bellefontaine offense needs to help carry this football team, and we've talked about the pre-snap stuff. I mean, that's the first thing I'm looking for, and I know I know Coach Jason Brown is talking to his guys. We have to stop beating ourselves pre-snap. So, does Bellefontaine play clean on offense? And then if they play clean, do they execute? And they certainly have the ability. They've proven that even in a post-Carter Caudill climate, they can still move the ball. Rain St. Clair took a big step forward, I thought, last week against Urbana. He showed the ability to step up in the pocket a few times, extend the play, and then deliver the ball downfield. I really like the idea of getting rid of the football early. I do worry a little bit about this Jonathan Alder pass rush. I like their D-line guys. They look a lot like a lot of Jonathan Alder D-line guys look. Just solid-looking athletes that look strong and a little bit fast. I would be looking to catch up throw if I'm Rain St. Clair tonight. Get rid of the ball. Let your playmakers make plays. I want to talk about that too, Tips. They've done a lot better job the last few weeks of getting multiple people involved. We've seen Spencer Stolley, Sutton Daring, Patrick Stolley, Zyler Huffman has contributed, C.J. Butler has contributed, Bryant Carter has had plenty of good carries. Caden Folk, I'll say his name again, Caden Folk needs to carry the ball early and often. I love him in the backfield. He's not a classic back. It's not how you draw it up, but it's what they need right now. He shows that ability. He's as talented as anyone on the field. Let him handle the football. Let's see what he can do.
How many points do you think it takes for the Chiefs to win this game?
Oh, I'm bad at that. I mean, if I'm Bellefontaine, I'm saying we need to score 28 just because that's a good goal for us.
Okay.
And this game will also come down to motivation. Jonathan Alder, they're playing for a bye. If they win, the projections are they will get a bye. And that's a really goofy concept. This is the first time we've ever said that on air because it's the first time there's been a bye, right, Tips?
Yeah, yes.
Yeah, so I don't even really know what that means. I would guess they want to buy. Some people might say, hey, we don't want to buy, but it gets them a round deeper into the playoffs. Bellefontaine, motivation should be no issue. They should have gotten on the bus today wide-eyed and ready to strap in and fight. What version of the team do we get? And this is where, if you're Jason Brown, you're looking in their eyes right now and saying, this is it. You look at the seniors, that you're playing for your lives here from a football standpoint. So answer the bell.
Chiefs will tee it up just to the right of the 50. It's Caden Folk, the senior kicker, linebacker, receiver, running back, does a little bit of everything. Cash Wheeler is deep for the Pioneers on the near hash. He's number 1 with the pink gloves. He's very fast, and right next to him is another speedy guy, the punt returner, in this case a kickoff returner as well, Braxton Overmeyer. They're both seniors. The Chiefs wearing their road white jerseys, black pants, black numerals trimmed in red, and Jonathan Alder with the black on black tonight. We are ready to go here on Week 10, senior night at Performance Stadium. Folk has it teed up. Really no wind tonight. Pretty good weather here for late October.
Great weather for late October. I've been miserable in plenty of Week 10s.
Folk kicks it. He angles it over by Overmeyer, who catches at about the 4.5. Looking to get upfield. Chiefs looking to contain, and they make a nice tackle. Sutton Daring kind of got a little literally sideways. He's just a scrappy, competitive guy and makes the tackle. It looked like Overmeyer might get up another 5 or 6 yards, but Daring said, no, that's enough, right about the 25-yard line.
I love Sutton Daring as a tackler. I love his low center of gravity. I love how he wraps up and he plays tough.
Chiefs look like they're going to come out in this 4-man front. 3 linebackers, Overmeyer, Blake Loomis, who was a defensive lineman. Now he's the middle linebacker, and Caden Folk. And number 1 priority to me is stopping Cash Wheeler. And he is in the backfield just to the left of his quarterback, Brock Hughes. First play from scrimmage at the 25. And it's a jet, and Caden Folk says, nope, not going to happen. Loss of about 2.5. What pursuit by the outside backer.
Yeah, that's what Caden Folk brings to the table. Is he's athletic enough, you run jet at him, he's going to avoid a block, dart into the backfield, and start off with a 3-yard loss.
It was Trey Bentley, who is one of the leading receivers in the CBC. He is
a lot of those jets. Obviously it's not just Trey Bentley. The Chiefs benefit from it too. A lot of those receiving stats these guys are piling up are at the hands of that jet play. Comes in with 80-some catches. 2nd
and 12 officially, no score. Here is Cash Wheeler, gets a couple of good blocks, and he is loose. He was close to really popping, and he got about maybe 10 over the left side. Well blocked, and he's slippery. He's hard to get a good hit on.
It's one of the plays that concerns me, just straight power right at the Chiefs. Those would be the kind of plays that if I'm Jonathan Alder, I run over and over again to try to wear down this defensive front.
I don't think either team is huge. Alder's probably known for having bigger teams. They still have some good size. Their right tackle, Anderson Storts, 56, is a big man.
Chiefs are geeked up for the run.
3rd and 3, it's a quick pass. The receiver makes the catch and then gets belted by Daring, but it's first down.
Pretty good football there all around. I mean, it's good pitch and catch. Sutton Daring, obviously you say, well, don't give that much cushion. You're not giving a ton there. That's a tough play to stop on 3rd and 4. It's kind of the down and distance that allows you to run that play.
Yeah, 2nd down is where Alder kind of resuscitated that series, so to speak. They got 10 yards to make 3rd down pretty doable. So gain of about 5 on 3rd and 3. First down for the Pioneers.
There's that slip play.
Yeah, there it is. To Overmeyer. Chiefs can't make the tackle. It's actually Bentley who looks to reverse field and finally pushed out of bounds. A flag thrown by the back judge late, though. I'm not sure what this would be about, but the
get a hold early.
Pass itself was about 17 yards.
I don't know what the late stuff was. The early's hold or I can't be.
Well, 2 penalties. I see one on the right, just right of the 50. The other one back by the line of scrimmage. Two holding penalties there, Coach. Well, they don't enforce both.
Take the first one.
Yeah, those are spot penalties, so it's going to be probably about 1st and 22 if I had to guess. 10:29 to go in the opening quarter here on the HPTV network. No score. Alder's first possession, the first possession of the game. And you're right, though, that slip pass, as you call it, some call it a drag or a little crossing route. Boy, the guy is wide open.
Well, and the reason I wouldn't call it a drag is because it's coming to behind the line of
Well,
scrimmage.
yeah, that's
so
fair.
it's really just a play action. And they send that guy across at times as a run blocker, so he kind of gets lost in there. And the Chiefs are going to run it, I'm sure, here soon enough.
It's first at about 20 is how they'll mark this. Brock Hughes, the quarterback, in shotgun. Puts Wheeler in motion. Looks to, he kind of play passes, looking for a screen. And they get a couple of blockers, then the Chiefs gang tackle. Well done. Julius Butler kind of forced the issue, then his teammates really rallied to the football.
I like seeing Jesse Castle get in on that.
Yeah.
He's played some defensive snaps, not a ton. I'd like to see him play more. I know the reason he's not is because they're trying to make sure that he's able to have, what he needs for offense. But, Jesse has an ability to handle people in a way that some of his teammates don't. Be nice here in what could be his last game to see him make plays on both sides of the ball.
Yeah, well, a big guy, defensive tackle. 2nd and 17. And the pass broke it up. It's incomplete. That's how I'm going to call it.
Well, they're calling it a fumble.
Well,
and they're calling it Alder's ball.
Yeah, Hughes recovered it. But to me, it looked like one of those shovel passes. And, high school doesn't have the replays like college or pro. But they're now calling it incomplete. As I watched it live, that's what I thought. I don't know what you saw, but that's what I thought.
Well, Tips, I got to admit, I'm watching the line of scrimmage. It's a strength as a coach and it's a weakness as a commentator. Okay. I'm watching that line of scrimmage on the snap every time because I want to see what's happening, and I wanted to see what Jesse Castle was going to do the snap after, so I had no idea what happened back there.
Well, he pushed it forward out of his hand. I mean, I could see where it looks to some like a fumble, but it was incomplete. But nonetheless, great pressure. The defender, I think it was Caden Folk. He almost had a pick.
Well, it tells me Caden Folk was coming. The fact that he was Johnny on the spot that quick. This is a huge 3rd and long. If you're the Chiefs, you just get off the field here. Be a great first drive.
Looks like just 3 rushers. Well, Loomis
got a guy wide open.
Yep.
Oh, and he missed him.
He did. It was incomplete.
Well, the number 10, number 11 was wide open by himself. Now, he had a ways to go had he found him. It looks like Ben McCain was they had levels there. The first level was easy money. That's a big stop for the Chiefs. Come into this game just not sure how you're going to handle this Alder offense that is, multifaceted. So far, so good.
Well, the penalty was big too, no doubt. And it took away a big game. So now Alder sends in the punt team. 4th and 17, no score, 9:40 to go in the opening quarter, and the Pioneers look like they're about to boot this football away. Good snap. The punter gets it away, a little bit of a rush, kicks it towards the sidelines. Patrick Stolley watches it bounce, and go out of bounds right around the Bellefontaine 27 on the near side. So the Chiefs do get that stop. We've only seen like 5 or 6 plays, but as you look at what Alder's trying to do offensively, what stuck out to you? What conceptually stands out?
It looked like the same stuff I saw in film, and you mentioned the penalty was big, but other than that, I still think Bellefontaine, did a great job of just doing their job. Simple as that. Rallying to the football, playing tough at the line of scrimmage. I would come away from that drive as very hopeful if I'm a Bellefontaine defender.
Chiefs start at their 28-yard line, 1st and 10, 9:32 to go in the opening quarter. Scoreless here at Jonathan Alder. Spencer Stolley motions left, then back to the right. Chiefs, what a pass. St. Clair has time, throws, caught by Caden Folk on an out, and he's got a first down, and maybe a couple of more up to about the 40 right by his bench. That was an easy pitch and catch, and well done by the quarterback and the receiver.
It's easy to love things that work, but I love that play. I love, like I said before, catch-up throw, get rid of the ball, get it to your athlete, Caden Folk. There's not a whole lot defensively you can do to take that away. I mean, you can jump the route, and then you can do things vertically, but love getting rid of the football quick, helping your O-line out.
11-yard gain, first down. St. Clair wants to pass. Has time, throws, incomplete, into coverage. Looked like maybe one of the big guys dropped back for the Pioneers. Yeah, that was a defensive lineman in coverage. You see that big number 70? That's Wyatt DeLong, sophomore defensive tackle.
Yeah, and that was a scary throw. That was, a little – there wasn't a whole lot put on it. I think probably should come down with the catch, but that's a play you don't want to do again.
I think it probably surprises everybody when you see that defensive tackle drop in high school football. Here comes a run to Bryant Carter. He's got a little bit of a seam, and he goes forward for about 3 yards, maybe 3.5. Alder, a 4-2-5 defense. Now here on 3rd and about 6, do they usually bring pressure? How do you think they'll handle this?
Well, yeah, I think they're going to bring pressure. I think that's exactly what I would do. The fact that it's a little longer, they got to get into their routes a little bit. I would always be looking to move Rain St. Clair off his spot.
Alder with 3 down guys, but another backer right by the line of scrimmage on 3rd and 6. St. Clair looking, wants to screen it, and Alder knew the play. They were very disciplined. Loss of about 3. They saw screen. They defended screen. Carter caught the ball. I don't think they could defend it any better.
Great play. Number 53, Cody Yates, sophomore defensive lineman. He was all over it from the word go, and that's been a good play to the Chiefs. They do run it well. I don't hate the play call, but that's maybe the first time we've seen a team straight jump that concept.
Yeah, and Yates is what Coach Glass says is their best defensive lineman, and he's only in 10th grade. So Alder gets a stop. And now Rain St. Clair standing at about his 28. Gets his right foot into it. Kind of a shorter punt. It'll take a little Bellefontaine roll and be touched up around the 30 by Board McLean. So kind of an early game defense field position kind of game. 7:57 to go in the opening quarter. No score here, and Alder will take over at their 30. No score. Chiefs again 5-4 coming in. Alder is 8-1. Last year, though, the Chiefs won this game very decidingly, 49-7.
Yeah, that was a game, we thought maybe would be competitive and just really wasn't, like all the games last year.
1st and 10. Here's a give to Cash Wheeler. Looks for a seam, not much there. Good job by the interior guys. They just formed a wall.
A great job by Braylon Saxton and Julius Butler. Julius Butler held his water, stayed tough, and Braylon Saxton did exactly what he's supposed to do. He long-armed, looked into the backfield, saw that it was underneath him, squeezed down, and helped make the tackle. He does his job week in and week out the last 6 weeks.
And if you could get that kind of defensive line play as a linebacker, you love it. It makes things a lot easier.
And really, it's come along for this defense. It's made them better.
2nd and 8. And here's a give to Wheeler, looking to bounce it outside. And he's, initially looked like swung down, but he refuses to be tackled, then tackled by about 4 Chiefs after he got 2 yards. Very exciting 2-yard run.
Still great team defense, though. Obviously, you want to get him wrapped up as quick as you can, but Blake Loomis, everybody at the point of attack there was playing gap control and then finishing. You talked about the early keys to this game is the Bellefontaine defense ability to hold up against that run game. So far, so good.
Tristan Smiley is now in, Rick, and so is Avon Caudill in the defensive line. That's a freshman and a sophomore. Smiley is number 70.
So you get the 3-man front with an overhang. Smiley coming hot there.
Yeah, and
broken up.
Yeah, Carson Drake broke up the pass that time to the older receiver on the near side, Trey Bentley, who's had a big year, and now it's 4th and about 6.
Tips, that might be the first time we've seen Smiley get after the quarterback like that.
Yeah.
I don't know exactly what happened, but he was in the backfield.
Yeah.
I'm not saying I don't know if he made contact with Hughes, but he was in his face. And Carson Drake, that looked like a first down to me, so he breaks that thing up.
Oh, it was a first down by a couple of yards, yeah.
But it looked like a catch even. So, he's a little bit late and able to break the ball up.
Yeah.
Something the Chiefs did a ton of last week.
4th and 6. Good snap. Nice punt high. Patrick Staley makes the catch at his 31. Looking to get upfield and then swung out of bounds on the near side at about the 36. Pretty good punt. Chiefs have good field position, though, at their 36, 6:19 to go in the opening quarter, and still no score.
So now is when you look at the offense. If you're Jason Brown, you're chirping to your offensive guys saying, all right, we've given you 2 great drives out of our defense, kept field position to be reasonable. Now it's time to march.
Coach Glass says his team typically 50-50 run-pass ratio. The Chiefs tonight, would you guess they throw it more than they run it?
Yeah, I would guess so.
Okay. They'll put this ball officially at the 35. 6:19 to go in the first quarter. No score here at Jonathan Alder. And St. Clair this time gets under center. One receiver to the top. It's a toss play to Bryant Carter, who's got immediate pressure, and he's flown down for about a 2-yard loss. Now, that time Alder just got to the short side of the field and put up a fence.
Sometimes you run numbers into the boundary, and you like to run it there, but if a team is lined up equally, those are, and I like running to the boundary, but those are tough plays if they're matching you man for man.
2nd and 12. Alder looks pretty good defensively. Again, still very early in this game. 6:14 to go in the first quarter. No score. Sutton Daring motions in, then motions back out. St. Clair looking. Has a man downfield. It's Caden Folk. A lot of contact, and is it picked off?
It is.
It is picked off. And Folk, when I saw the ball get launched, had good position, but the defender just really fought for the position and made the pick.
Well, yeah, the ball was underthrown. You're right. Caden Folk did have he had a step. If he can put that ball out in front of him, he might be banging his head off the goalpost. But underthrown, Caden Folk tries to come back through. I mean, it's not the worst turn of events. Obviously you'd like to have third down, but
it's a punt.
It's probably a better punt than what you were going to get if you thought 3rd and long was a dangerous proposition.
Yeah, and really just a fine play by the defender. I mean,
yeah, and I like the Chiefs going downfield there. I like being aggressive. You got nothing to lose. Let him put some air under it.
First turnover of the game. Give to Cash Wheeler. He's loose.
Not getting off blocks there.
And Stolley trying to catch up. Patrick Stolley still trying to catch up, and he can't catch up. It's a touchdown.
That was just a classic. Chiefs fitted that run well. They had hats where they needed to be, but you had about 3 guys that were important that just did not get off blocks. And Wheeler definitely is the kind of guy that if you let him get a foot in the dirt, a foot in the turf, and get vertical, he will run away from you.
Yeah, and looked like Stolley might catch him, but he just could not close it in the last 40 yards. And Cash Wheeler cashes in on the turnover. One play after the turnover, a 76-yard touchdown run. And here comes Logan Rich for the conversion attempt. Snap is back. It's put down by Obermeyer, and the kick is up. The kick is good. 5:53 to go in the opening quarter. And our first big play, and it comes right after the turnover. I don't know if there was any rhyme or reason for that, but you see the explosiveness of Cash Wheeler. To me, if I'm ever a defensive coach, which I never will be, those guys that can go
there's
the
still
distance,
time
they're
for
scary.
you, Tips.
Now I'm good. Those guys though that can go the distance are scary. He is a scary guy to defend.
And I do think Bellefontaine was struggling to get lined up there before the snap. There was a little bit of flipping around. A lot of times I think they're playing their ends and their tackles to the strength of the formation. I don't know if that's why the big play happened. It doesn't help. But really, at the end of the day, they had a tackle, an end, and a backer that were all kind of in those gaps and just really couldn't get off blocks. But hey, it's going to happen. It's you didn't think that you were probably going to shut out the Pioneers, so now you look at your offense and say, all right, we need some help. We need you to move the ball down the field and ideally put one in the end zone.
Yeah, their defense looks pretty good early on. I think the Bellefontaine defense has played fairly well except for that play right there.
And that's the tough part about defense. You can play great for 10 straight plays, and if the 11th one goes 70-some yards, you don't look very good.
Brian Lorette, I think, has some stats here we'll get to in just a second after this kickoff. Logan Rich has it put on the tee right in the middle of the field at the 40-yard line. Kicks it left to right. It's a high kick. Not super deep. Daring catches it at the 10-yard line. Looking for a seam. Spins, and he got to about the 30. And Bellefontaine takes over at their own 35-47 to go in the first quarter. Jonathan Alder leads the Chiefs 7-0. Rick, what do you have statistically?
Well, Bellefontaine has 15 yards of offense through two drives. Really, a lot of it be on that one nice pass to Caden Folk. 76-yard touchdown. Besides that, for Alder, it was 19 yards of offense. So kind of back and forth here besides the one big play.
St. Clair in shotgun. Gives it off to Bryant Carter, who has a little bit of a seam on a draw play. He got about 5.5.
Alder's coming, they're coming pretty far upfield. Their ends, that's twice now the Chiefs have trapped them, and they're giving the Chiefs maybe bigger running lanes than they'd like by getting so deep into the backfield. It's a great first down run for Bryant Carter.
2nd and 4 for the Chiefs. 7-0 Alder. Here comes another run by Carter. Spins, runs into his own blocker there, got a couple of the yards. He ran into his center, Derek Green, so 3rd and 2. Third and 2. It's a big play early in this game for the Chiefs.
Yeah, it's big for morale. After a huge touchdown run, you don't want to ask your defense to be right back on the field,
No.
3 or 4 minutes later.
No.
Even just a first down here changes the mojo.
3rd and 2. C.J. Butler split out wide to the left.
A quick pass down here to Butler, and you feel like you could do exactly what Alder did. Take what they're giving you.
And they'll run it again. Bryant Carter gets a nice surge, and he's got quick feet. He's good at cutting in the hole, I think, and he got about 5 or 6 first down sheets.
That was one of Bryant Carter's better runs. That wasn't easy sledding in there. The O-line was fighting for him, but he, like you said, he had to pitter-patter a little bit and find his way. Huge first down for the Chiefs.
6-yard run. First and 10 for the Chiefs at their own 44. 4:25 to go in the opening quarter. The Pioneers lead the Chiefs 7-0. Sutton daring in motion. Now he motions back out. And the Chiefs want to pass. St. Clair, a quick out, and it's incomplete. Wasn't a whole lot there, even if the receiver, Zyler Huffman, catches it.
Zyler Huffman didn't look like a guy that thought he was getting the ball there.
I agree.
Certainly not that quick. Kind of just flat curl. A lot of times those flat guys don't get the ball. I like this matchup down here with Spencer Stolley on number 5. I like those free yards too. Not quite. Yep, they're going to give it to him.
Well, looks like got a little offsides on the Pioneers. That's a big penalty. That makes it 2nd and 5.
So this Drew Hughes is the freshman DB down here.
Right.
This obviously I would assume is Brock Hughes' younger brother.
Yes, it is. And he was really a heck of a junior high football player. My guess is one of the leading contenders to be the quarterback next year.
I don't know anything about it, and I've got him as the number 1 contender based off his last name. But I like this matchup down here with Spencer Stolley.
Yeah.
He's getting a lot of cushion.
He is. You're right. 2nd and 5. Chiefs look over at the sidelines. Play clock is at 13. St. Clair says something to his lineman, and he's ready. And after all that, it's going to be a run. Bryant Carter again doing a good job just dancing around. He's another guy that's hard to get a good hit on at times, and he got 4 yards.
He's kind of got a knack for almost like sidestepping into the hole. He kind of turns his shoulders and contorts his body in a way that you kind of miss. And I'm thinking 4 down here if I'm Bellefontaine. I know it's easy from up here in a cushy seat, but you got nothing to lose here. So if you want to run the ball, absolutely run the ball, and then figure it out on 4th down if you have to. They're going to go empty though, so no run on the table.
Yeah, 3rd and 1, and you go shotgun. Interesting. Put a man in motion. That's Caden Folk. Alder brings a blitz. Quick pass to Spencer Stolley. Makes the catch, and he actually maybe lost half a yard. Got no help from his blockers on the perimeter.
Well, the challenge is, you're in empty. So the tough part with Bellefontaine's offense, because they don't ever run out of empty, is the moment you show up, and I struggled at times with empty because of that. Now, if you're empty and you're a QB-centric team that will run the ball, that neutralizes the defense. But when I know as a defensive play caller that you're an empty and you have to throw, it just kind of changes, especially on 3rd and 1, how I line up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And they were in man coverage. I mean, you saw the guy chasing Caden Folk across. So
4th and 3, the Chiefs will punt. If you ever thought about a fake, this might be it.
Agreed.
Caden Larby, the long snapper, gets it back to St. Clair.
And they were thinking
and
fake.
it is a fake.
Good call, Bill
and he'll
Tipple.
throw it out to Patrick Stolley for a 1st down completion.
I told you there's hope for you yet. Now, you were talking about coaching defense, but I like you as a special teams guy.
I am good. I am good right here.
Hey, great for both of you. Great for you thinking of it, and great for Jason Brown for calling it. That is we talked about that early in the year. It's a nice thing about your quarterback being the punter.
Absolutely.
It's a lot easier to run fake punt.
Yeah. Well,
that's a play that Brent Glass is not happy about. I don't know who's responsible. That was somewhat obvious to see coming, and they were totally not there.
got about 15 yards on 4th and 3. St. Clair to Stiley. We've called that before. It was just done in an unconventional way. Range St. Clair lets it rip, and did his receiver make a great catch? No. Out of bounds on the far side with Spencer Stiley.
There wasn't a whole lot of room there. It looked like when it left his hand, I thought we were about to see a great sideline pass.
Yeah.
He had trouble underneath and trouble over top. Trouble ahead and trouble behind.
Yeah, there wasn't a lot of window to throw that ball to his receiver. When you convert a fake punt, you have to punch it in here.
Yeah, it definitely has that demoralizing feeling if you let that opportunity slip away.
2:32 to go in the opening quarter. 7-0. Jonathan Alder in front of Bellefontaine. 2nd and 10. Here's a toss play to the running back, Caden Folk. Gets out of one tackle, still going, and got maybe about three and a half, maybe 4. There wasn't much there.
Well, there's an unblocked player, but Caden Folk made him miss, and that's the only reason he gains 4 or 5 yards.
I think I'll call it 4, 3rd and 6. Aggressive play calling, though, on the punt by Jason Brown. Yeah, I think we all of us that know Jason know he's a defensive man at heart, but he also knows he has to win the football game to get a game next week.
Yeah, and that's the kind of play you also just call for morale, that you don't, on the road, week 10, you don't want to go down 2 scores, especially without moving the ball at all, and you're kind of doing that for your guys.
3rd and 6. Here comes a late blitzer. Pass over the middle. Dropped by the receiver, Sutton Daring. Took a hard hit afterwards. Took a hit up by the head, actually, but no penalty, and it brings up 4th and 6. And obviously at the 32-yard line, you're not going to punt the ball.
Beat a dead horse a little bit. This is where I really like just that comeback route. What are you better at than they are? Your quarterback's arm is super talented. You have some wide receivers that can press vertical and break a route off. Throw a guy open to about 7 yards and get the first down.
Yeah.
Look at your matchup up top, because Rain can make that throw up top.
Alder rushes forward. It's a shallow cross. Oh, what a move by the receiver after the catch to secure the first down. Spencer Stiley, I'm not sure he had the first down as soon as he caught the pigskin, but he got skinny, as they like to say, got small, got low, and just darted for the first down.
Good job of clearing everyone out. Now, that middle has been a dangerous place for Bellefontaine early on, and there was still some trouble in the neighborhood, but like you said, Spencer Stiley does a great job of picking the ball, and he knew that he needed another couple yards, and he got it.
It's almost like he knew where the opening would be as soon as he caught the football. That was a heady play. First down, Chiefs. Got 7 yards when they needed 6. St. Clair with a clean pocket, throws towards the goal line, and the ball
That's probably a
broken
penalty.
Up. The ball broken up. The intended receiver for the Chiefs is still down. I think it's C.J. Butler.
Yeah. That feels like the kind of thing we've seen called.
Yeah, just don't call this, though, in high school football like you see on Saturdays and Sundays. He took a shot up high, but it's a football play. I don't.
Well, hey, I'm with you. I didn't write the rules. I just read them, and I still don't understand them. But I guess.
But they just don't call. I mean,
we were talking about last week on the Cotner play. They end up calling that. I guess it's can you defend yourself? And I'm not sure Butler could there.
2nd and 10. Range St. Clair rolls right. Now a throwback the other way to Caden Folk, who's got blockers in front. Folk is tackled after he got about 5, and Alder did a good job rallying to the football. Cash Wheeler closed down. And
good play call and good execution there by the Chiefs, though. I like that quick rollout, throwback screen. That's creating offense, grinding out a few yards. Now you've got very reasonable ability to get 5 yards and 2 downs.
Yeah, 3rd and 5, 40 seconds to go in the opening quarter. 7-0 Jonathan Alder here at Performance Stadium. I'm not opposed to running the football here.
Not at all.
Play clock is at 10. Chiefs need to get a move on.
I think with Caden Folk in the backfield, you can expect it.
Alder motioning for something like they know what it might be on the sidelines. St. Clair wants to pass, has time, throws an out. It's a little bit low, and his receiver can't make the catch, and it would have been a first down. Spencer Studley, the intended target on the far right side. St. Clair's very accurate, but that one he would like to have back.
Yeah, that's exactly the quote I was going to say. You just really want that throw back if you're Rain St. Clair. That is easy money. You have the arm talent to put that thing on him. You know, obviously his feet are just not right, the fact that ball's fading late.
I thought we might get a quarter break, but the Chiefs will have to play on. 17 seconds to go in the first quarter. 4th and 5 at the Alder 20, and the Chiefs down 7-0. Deering motions in and then motions out. Again, Alder rushes 4, clean pocket. Now it starts to break down. St. Clair gets rid of it, throws, and his man can't make the catch at the 7-yard line, Zyler Huffman. Now initially St. Clair, I think, wanted to go middle, had a good pocket, but didn't see anything he liked. Then he got pushed to the perimeter of the pocket and just could not get the completion.
And it felt like maybe went to the outside, had a good pocket, and then went outside, and then that's when the blocks break down because you've changed the leverage of your lineman.
Absolutely.
You know, that's the kind of that happy feet stuff. You just want to stay in the pocket. You're safe. Stay in there and get your eyes downfield and deliver the football.
The Chiefs flipped the field position, but, boy, they had chances on that drive.
Yeah, I mean, definitely progress there. Like you said, they flipped the field. They burned some clock, keep Alder on the bench, but now you put some pressure on your defense to hold this to a one score.
Give to Cash Wheeler. Wheeler, following his blockers, got about 6. That will be the last play of the first quarter.
Chiefs starting to get driven a little there at the point of attack. That's concerning.
Yeah, they were on the right side of the Alder offensive line. That's the end of the first quarter. We'll take a break after that 7-yard run. Alder in possession after one quarter here at Jonathan Alder High School. Jonathan Alder leads Bellefontaine 7-0 on the HPTV network. Planning an event? Make it unforgettable with Stocked Event Rentals. From weddings to parties and special events, we've got everything you need to turn your vision into reality. Need seating? We've got chairs and tables. Looking for some fun? Try our yard games like tumbling timbers and yard pong. Don't forget about our stunning framed tents. Perfect for any outdoor gathering. Visit StockedEventRentals.com or call 937-441-3610 to book today. Stocked Event Rentals, where your perfect event starts. Welcome back into Performance Stadium here at Jonathan Alder. Thanks to both athletic directors for helping us. Scott Rule from Jonathan Alder, Jason Kelton at Bellefontaine High. And we begin quarter number 2, and Jonathan Alder leads Bellefontaine 7-0. Been a good football game so far. You know, Alder does have one more play. Obviously, a touchdown run by Cash Wheeler of 76 yards. They're just very fundamentally sound. It looks like you're going to have to drive the ball and make several plays to get a touchdown. 2nd and 3 for the Pioneers at their own 27. Look over to the bench. The play clock winding down to 12. Brock Hughes looks like he might be ready. Chiefs in a 4-3 set here. And it's a give to Cash Wheeler. He's loose again. Gets some nice blocking from his offensive receivers and darts to about the 49, gain of about 22. Right now, Alder's blocking is by far the best I've seen all night.
Yeah, they're coming off the ball, and they're really, like you said, they're just staying on blocks. Bellefontaine is quickly finding themselves unable to get off those blocks, and you're starting to see some maybe not ideal angles out of linebackers in support.
21-yard run. Wheeler's already over 100 yards. And here comes a play pass. Pass out in the flat, caught by Bentley. Slips out of one tackle, then tackle from behind by Braylon Saxon, but a gain of about 8.
Same play as the first drive, the slip pass.
Yeah, complimentary play calling. Run, then a play pass. 2nd and 2. Alder looks over at the sidelines. They really don't huddle. They're not in a big hurry as the play clock is now at 15. Chiefs need to keep it at a one-score game here. 2nd and 2. Hughes wants to pass. Looking, waits, then throws. Has a man there who makes the catch and knocked down inside the 10 for 1st and goal. Good throw and a heck of a catch. Board McLean was in decent position. He just wasn't looking back at the football.
Yeah, it's a good ball, and number 10, Ben McCain, has a step, and Hughes puts it on the money. It's really not that complicated. You get a step on a guy, and you put a good throw, and that's the kind of plays that happen.
10:50, another big play for Alder. That one went for over 30 yards. 10:50 to go in the opening half. The Pioneers lead at 7-0.
I think you'll see a heavy dose of Wheeler here.
Yeah, that's what I think too. High snap, give to Cash Wheeler. He's got a big seam to the right side. Darts towards the goal line, touchdown. Made a good cut. It was very well blocked. And the Pioneers take a 2-score lead. 10:36 to go in the opening half, and it's 13-0 Jonathan Alder. That was an 80-play drive that was a little too easy.
Yeah, that's the concern. If you're Bellefontaine, is not only are they going up 2 scores, they're doing it in a way, certainly on the ground, that with not a lot of resistance.
Wheeler with a 9-yard touchdown run. Point after by Logan Rich is put up, and it is good. 10:36 to go before the half. Jonathan Alder leads Bellefontaine 14-0. They look good. I always like to compare teams. I asked Rick on the drive over how they would compare to Indian Lake. I think that would be a good football game.
Yeah, I think so. It's tough. These CBC teams outside of London and maybe outside of, like, say, Shawnee, are, because of 2 extremes, they're hard to get a beat on. Indian Lake against the Chiefs look like absolute world beaters. I think I said that night that I thought it was them and Alder as the clear-cut 2nd and 3rd best team, which is probably still accurate. But Indian Lake's, had some games where they haven't looked, like they were clearly the 2nd best team in the league. But certainly for a night against the Chiefs, they did.
They've rallied for some wins. They got a gutsy team. Last week they could have lost at Graham.
Well coached and tough. Cash Wheeler, 7 carries, 124 yards, and 2 touchdowns.
Yeah.
That's a pretty good start for the running back.
Yeah.
Converted from receiver, according to the league site last year.
It is. Kickoff. One of those high kicks. The return man, though, is loose and making some great cuts. It is Sutton Daring who takes it all the way up to his own 46-yard line. That time it looked like Coach Glass wanted to go with kind of the pooch placement kick. I got to think that was on purpose. And Sutton Daring with his ability to cut left and right is really, really something special. He might be the best guy on the team at doing that.
If you're looking for a spark offensively, there's no quicker way to do it than on a good kick return. You absolutely have to turn this into points if you're Bellefontaine's offense.
Alder uses 5 defensive backs, which certainly makes sense against a Reign St. Clair team, but that's just their base defense. 2 strong safeties, free safety, and 2 corners. 1st and 10. St. Clair is, now he looks over to the sideline. Still has time. Play clock at 14. 10:29 to go in the half, and the Pioneers lead the Chiefs 14-0. Here's a run to Brian Carter, who is loose. Carter with a nice run for about 14 yards.
Again, Alder's really running upfield. They're creating those lanes with their D line, and Bellefontaine's doing a really good job of exploiting it.
The way I see it, Rick, is it's almost like Alder expects a pass.
It almost feels. That one in particular felt like a draw, and maybe it was.
It was a delay. First and 10 for the Chiefs at the Alder 40-yard line. Need to finish this drive. Alder is in front, 14-0. Caden Folk in motion. St. Clair ready. Has time, throws. Caught by Spencer Stiley on the near side, and Stiley is swung out of bounds by the Alder bench at around the 31. Not an easy pass. It was a long pass horizontally, and then once Stiley caught it, he went north immediately. Well, 2nd and 1. Chiefs on a little bit of a march here. They got rhythm, and really what set it up was the special teams play. 2nd and 1. Folk gets into the backfield. I anticipate a run right here. Wing to the right.
In particular, Braylon Saxton, who generally would come in as a run blocker.
Yeah. Play clock
now
is
the
at
cheat
5.
inside tells me he's slamming up inside.
Yep. It's a run to Folk. Folk meets some resistance, and then he just extends for a first down. Yeah, they say move the chains.
It's you don't see that very often. I almost wondering if that Saxton comes across and ends up trapping like the tackle. It looked like kind of a wham block. It was an important block. He didn't get a ton, but he got enough to get Folk forward for the first down. And he'll give way to a more classic skill player.
1st and 10.
So they bring in Huffman for him, and he plays in the slot as opposed to the wing.
Okay, yeah, no running backs. Folk is a slot, and then 4 other receivers. St. Clair wants to pass. Better get rid of it as pressure coming throws. Patrick Stiley can't make the catch. Had it initially and then took a big hit from Cash Wheeler was there. Also there was Ben McCain, I believe.
Yeah, so close there. Had really everything they wanted. Pretty good throw. Pretty good attempt at the catch. It is tough when your hands are extended and you get any kind of contact. That's tough to bring the ball in.
It was free safety Caleb Wilshire who broke it up. Wilshire leads the Pioneers in tackles from his free safety spot. Chiefs have almost on a couple of those pass plays. They've been close. C.J. Butler the other way, going to the left, had it broken up. 2nd and 10. Chiefs want to pass again. That one looked like it could go the other way. Overmeyer in coverage, and the ball dropped by him. If he catches it, look out.
It reminds me, watching how Alder lined up to that. The Chiefs have run that kind of look on them quite a few times over the years. 3 guys in a spread look. And there's been several games over the years where the Chieftain offense has peppered them with quick screen. I remember one year in particular, this was when Toby Smith was the head coach, the Alder faithful were ready to boo Brent Glass out of this stadium because they could not stop it. Now they stopped it there.
Yeah, there was really no opening. 3rd and 10. Chiefs need to get some movement here. And it's kind of a broken play.
It was a broken play.
St. Clair wants to run it, nothing there, and he's gang tackle for a loss of 1. Well, that's kind of been Bellefontain's season at times. Good play, then just a series of just not sharp football.
Yeah, agreed. That's the best way to put it. And
now 4th and 11, and Alder, a lot of these plays is rush just 4. This time I think Coach Glass is going to send more than 4 guys.
Well, they don't look like it pre-snap.
No. Actually, just 3 down linemen. 4th and 11.
Drop 8.
Yep, St. Clair looking, throws. Caught by Sutton Daring, and he's got a first down. And took a hard hit.
That's what we saw last week out of Reign St. Clair against Urbana. You got a 3-man rush. They are coming. There's trouble around you. Step forward, trust it, put the ball on the money.
Yeah, good pass.
His best play of the night.
Yeah, good pass. And Sutton Daring took a hard hit. He's still in there. A tough guy.
Big just to control this football. Obviously, you want to finish with 6, but
15-yard gain. It was 4th and 11.
As your defense is reeling, this is the best medicine for it.
Yeah. 8:20 to go in the half. Chiefs down 14-0. Bryant Carter gets the give. Not much there.
He's got to get those lead blockers moving. You can't, when you run that counter tray, you can't have guys coming around. I used to say to the guys dancing through the daisies that you got to get out of the way. If you're going to run that power play, you need guys leading the way, not standing in the way. Bryant Carter had nowhere to go there.
2nd and 10.
And sometimes there's just a nuance to that counter tray that you have to come around that corner looking for a fight.
St. Clair wants to pass. Looking, throws towards the goal line, and it's incomplete. A little high to Spencer Stolle.
Good protection, good scheme, had everything they want, just got to put that ball on him.
A little bit lower. I do think it was catchable. It would have been a good catch.
It was going to be a real good catch.
Now it's 3rd and 10 again.
The Chiefs will need Reign St. Clair to make a few of these plays.
Yeah.
I mean, they will. That will, if there's a path forward to victory, it's number 12 putting the ball in the money.
And they are throwing over the middle, which I like. I don't think enough high school teams do that. 3rd and 10. St. Clair looking, and it's knocked down at the line of scrimmage. That brings up 4th and 10.
Late blitz off the edge with number 7 there. Ben Petzinger. St. Clair saw it, felt like he had to rush it, which he certainly did. Defensive lineman getting his hand up. They're going to need to pull a rabbit out of a hat here again on 4th down. Really don't want to let this drive stall out.
I think one of the Chiefs' most consistent guys, and I look for him to get, I think they're going to go to him right now, has been Patrick Stolle on the near side. 4th and 10. Stolle running across. Well, actually go end zone. They got him, and it is caught for a touchdown. Spencer Stolle got loose in the left corner of the end zone, and the Chiefs are back in this football game. 7:29 to go in the second quarter, and they find some magic.
There's that rabbit out of the hat. Corner route to Spencer Stolle. Reign St. Clair does a great job of putting it on a line. Spencer Stolle, great job of securing it with an all-important first Chieftain touchdown.
15-yard touchdown pass. The ball went a lot further than that as it went all the way from the right hash to the left side. 14-6 the Pioneers, and here comes an important conversion by Caden Folk. Patrick Stolle will hold it. Puts it down, the kick is up, and the kick is good. 7:29 to go in the second quarter, and that was a big boy drive. 54 yards, but there were a lot of key plays the Chiefs had to have, and they delivered.
Yeah, one of those moments where you could see that if the Chiefs would have sputtered out and allowed Alder to put a third score on the board, that you would have kind of felt all the air from the Chieftain sidelines let out. And the opposite is you go down and you fight your way on a couple 4th downs, you put one on the board, and you're right back in the ball game.
Yeah, they converted 2 4th downs. But back to the other side of the ball here, which to me, I said this a few minutes before kickoff, they don't stop the running of Cash Wheeler. They're not going to win the game.
So you probably, if you're standing on the defensive sideline, you're saying, okay, we've got to do something a little different. I don't know exactly what that answer is. They're going to have to show them a little wrinkle because they were certainly not only getting beat at the point of attack, they were getting beat badly.
Yeah, you could run blitz. The thing with him, if you don't have support in your layers, he's so fast.
Yeah, but you get to the point where you're willing to take that risk.
Kick all the way back to the 2-yard line.
I like that you're talking layers, though, Tips. Coach Brown's rubbing off on you.
Good tackle by Patrick Stolle, I think, on the special teams. Yeah, the return man, Overmeyer, got to the 25. Good kick by Folk all the way to the 2-yard line. 7:23 to go in the first half. Alder leads the Chiefs 14-7. Rick, what do you have statistically?
Well, the big stat that I see from Brian Lorette is the Chiefs are 4 of 5 on 4th down. That's a great stat. Reign St. Clair 9 of 20 for a touchdown, 73 yards with 1 INT. Spencer Stolle 4 catches, including 1 big touchdown, total of 31 yards. All about this defense, though. Now you want to really stay in this game. You get a stop and a score.
Jackson Rogan in, Trey Deo in, so some different defensive linemen, and
so there's your answer. If you know things didn't go well, you say, okay, let's not do the exact same thing we did, so let's bring in some bigger guys. Certainly with Rogan, you bring in size. You know, he may not be as quick off the ball as the other guys, but, you know, size does matter in this sport, and staying stout down inside, there's a role for a guy like that.
Well, he definitely stands out. He is by far the biggest guy in the Chieftain defense. Defensive tackle, Jackson Rogan, number 72. 2nd and 7. Here's a give to Cash Wheeler again. Looking to now bounce it outside. There goes that speed again. Braylon Saxton will escort him out around the 42 or 43 yard line. And Alder, I'll tell you what I don't know what they told their linemen after about 1 quarter of play, but they really are blocking well after the first couple of possessions.
Yeah, and I'm going to put that on the second level, guys, because I watched that interior. I watched Rogan in particular off the ball. That was one of his better reps. He came off the ball. He held his ground, kind of moved the line of scrimmage. They bounced that play out, and then there's just really no support.
Gain of 14, 1st and 10.
Chiefs are really counting on Overman and Folk to squeeze these plays.
14-7 our score. There goes Wheeler again, and Wheeler got about 4 or 5, and he's a busy man. He is over 1,000 yards coming into this game, and not just his yards. Coach Glass must think he is a guy that can handle a heavy workload. Last week, I think Wheeler had 36 carries in the win at Kenton Ridge.
Yeah, that's a really high number this day and age.
And he's built more like a slot receiver, 5'10", 165, so he must be a tough guy. Kind of built similarly, I would say, to Spencer Stolley. Here comes a play pass. Pass out in the flat that Coach Reed has talked about. Bentley, who's hard to tackle, got about 4 when there wasn't much there. The Chiefs did not finish that play very well. They had him for really no gain.
Caden Folk had eyes in the backfield, and I don't blame him because really the Chiefs need him in run support much more than they do, playing the flats. And he turned and kind of rallied to the play. But, yeah, like you said, it's probably going to be 3rd and 4 instead. It's 3rd and 2. Giving it to him.
Well, they moved, but no flag. Looked like the Chiefs may have been over the line of scrimmage and no penalty thrown. Alder really taking their time. Maybe they'll take a timeout. I don't know. Play clock at 4. Play clock at 2, and they will get the play off to Cash Wheeler. Wheeler stood up. That is a great play by Julius Butler and Braylon Saxon.
Great job by the entire defensive line. Good job of gaming that, too. Everyone was pinching. They had that thing muddied.
Yeah, I know you're an old play caller, and I'm not saying this was the whole deal, but I have to ask the question. The play clock got down to where the defense knew they were going to either have to snap the ball or call timeout. So there's no, deception, so to speak, on when the ball's going to get snapped. Did that play into the Chiefs' favor?
Oh, I'm not sure. I think what played into their favor is that Alder kept it on the ground because they've had so much success, and the Chiefs were really geared up for it. 4th
and 3, maybe up spot for a fake.
I don't think so.
And it's a high snap. Some pressure put on by Overmeyer, and the punt will bounce out of bounds on the near side at about the 28-yard line.
Cash Wheeler, 11 carries, 146 yards. Hughes, 5 of 8, 55 yards. Well, this is a huge drive for the Chiefs. 4 minutes to go. They talk a lot about the last 4 minutes of the first half and the first 4 minutes of the second half. If you can put together a drive here, no rush at all, you'd love to burn the clock up, put this thing in the end zone with about 40 seconds to go and go into halftime, tie ball game.
Brett Glass talking to one of his assistants over on the near side. Now the Chiefs have a chance to, if they drive and get a score, to tie this football game. Daring motions in, motions back out. Chiefs starting at their 28. St. Clair does have some pressure. Gets rid of it, though. Has a man downfield, and it's Spencer Stolley who makes the catch.
Oh.
And then apparently went out of bounds.
Well, he did a little pirouette there just to make the catch. He's definitely in, but out of bounds.
Yeah, after he went maybe another 5 or 6 yards. But if the field's another yard wider, that's a touchdown.
Hey, but that's still a huge play. That's
Correct.
A huge pitch and catch from Rain St. Clair to Spencer Stolley.
Yeah, from the 28 to the 32. So let me get out the old calculator. That's a gain of 30. That's 50 yards. Here comes a draw out of Bryant Carter. Looks to cut left, then right, and didn't get much. Really maybe no gain. 4 minutes to go in a half. Chiefs down 14-7. St. Clair has kind of carried the team tonight. Now he's had good pass blocking, good receiver play at times, but it's been a pass-heavy night for these Chiefs.
And I think it's going to need to be. I have liked the draw. That was a counter tray again. That's not been looking so good. I'm okay with these empty sets if you got to do it.
2nd and 10. St. Clair throws towards the goal line. Has a man there a little bit high. for Spencer Stolle.
Yeah, that was going to be a tough one anyways. You had help over top. You had a trailer. I like what the Chiefs are doing here, though. You know, what's your path to victory? Your path to victory is for number 12 to throw for 300 yards and to about 6 different guys and keep throwing the darts at their neck.
The Chiefs this year have gone more screen heavy with running backs than maybe ever, but Alder doesn't really let you do that because they only rush 3 or 4 and they are looking for a screen.
Well, Alder is as base a defense as you'll ever see. They don't do a whole lot different.
Yep. Here comes a blitz. Pass out in the flat, caught by Zyler Huffman. He's knocked out. Got about 6 or 7, but it will set up a huge 4th down. 4th and I'm going to say 4 at the Alder 25.
Get it to your best players. I mean, a lot of times in these situations, don't overthink it. What matchup do you like? Where are they giving you leverage? Where are they off a little bit? They're not off hardly anywhere. They're not going to give up the easy one.
No, 4th and 4. Pass is incomplete. Some contact. I thought on Patrick Stolle making his in cut before the ball got there.
Yeah, that was just good coverage. There's just really nothing there. That's a situation where they're going to come up and play man and say, we're going to send pressure and we're not going to let you get open easily.
4th and 4, and that time the Chiefs cannot convert, and Alder will get the stop and take over at their 25.
Still positives there. Love to get that thing in. Now you got to play defense because this game feels a lot different 14-7 than 21-7. But you can get this ball back too. You know, does Alder try to be a little more pass heavy here with the clock ticking a little bit?
I don't think so. They do have 3 timeouts to work with, as do the Chiefs. 3:24 to go in the first half. Here's Cash Wheeler again. Cuts it up in there, not too much. Got maybe 2 or 3. Good job by the Chiefs to rally to the football. 2nd and 7, 3:10 to go in the first half. The Chiefs are down 14-7.
Jesse Castle back in there again this drive, and he's giving them some good reps.
Alder remind you of anybody the Chiefs have played in the first 9 weeks?
Maybe a little bit Indian Lake. They don't have a Brody Reisinger, but you know their quarterback's nifty. He doesn't run it at all where Brady Galladay does. I think their back, is maybe a step ahead of Shirk, but Shirk's a nice back too, balanced.
Yeah, that's probably where I would go with that answer too, Coach Reed. Here comes a play pass by
Screen.
Hughes. He wants to throw the screen, not there. Throws it to Bentley instead, though. He makes the catch, then darts forward for a first down and more. Oh, good job by Hughes to, for a high school quarterback, he doesn't get option 1 that he wants because it's covered, and then he just finds Bentley downfield even further. That's a big play for the Pioneers.
Yeah, and I don't even know where he came from. That looked like kind of a non-traditional route concept.
Bentley's got good speed, too. 1st and 10 for the Pioneers at the Chieftain 46-yard line. 2:10 to go in half. Bentley is in motion. It'll be a handoff to Wheeler. Wheeler's got some room again. Well blocked. The Chiefs trying to pursue, and they cannot catch him. He will go for the touchdown.
He's running away from Caden Folk there. He's fast.
Well blocked. He's getting some huge holes, though. I mean, a lot of high school backs do not go for a touchdown there, but they're going to get 10 or 15 yards, even your average running back, I think, on that play.
Yeah, that kind of reared its ugly head again. Seemed like there for a few run plays in a row, the Chiefs had kind of fixed that lack of second-level support, and I think part of it is just he is knifing quickly.
Extra point by Logan Rich. Put up. The kick is good. 2:01 to go in the first half, and Alder leads at 21-7. Kind of the worst fear coming in, and that is the ground game, and not only the running game, just explosive plays.
Yeah, if there's a saving grace, it is that they did leave plenty of time on the clock. So now Bellefontaine, in theory, could take this thing down and get this thing back to a one-score game going into the half.
Coach Reed, you always have that positive mindset.
Well, not always, but I still have hope.
Well, I would think a lot of this half is, here in a couple minutes, is talked about how to squeeze that run game.
There won't be an easy fix.
No. I would agree with that. Logan Rich to kick it off at his own 40. The Chiefs down 21-7. Kick taken by Spencer Staley at his 12. Looks to get a couple of blocks. Still loose, and then gang tackled about the 29. 1:56 to go in the half. Chiefs down 21-7 here on the HPTV network at Jonathan Alder High. Bellefontaine got a long field to go. They do have 3 timeouts to work with. And I know that Brian Lorette is our stats man extraordinaire. Alder's put together a lot of yards because they've had to make long drives. It's not like these are 30 or 40-yard possessions.
Yeah, I mean, Wheeler's going to be probably around 200.
Yeah, yep. And a half. Chiefs first and 10 at their own 30.
Love it.
Yep, pass out on the near side, caught by Patrick Staley. Takes a big hit from a couple of Alder defenders. Bentley was there, Overmeyer was there. Everybody gets up, all the body parts are intact, and it's a gain of 16.
It's one of my favorite things that they do, and I think they should do it more, is just, again, that was more like 15 back to 12. Rain St. Clair has the kind of arm that you just can't really take that route away.
Here comes a blitz.
Screen.
It is a screen. Bryant Carter looking for a couple of blockers. Carter is loose down the left side. Carter runs into his own guy, then gets a convoy. It's a rugby scrum, and it's a first down around the 34. That was a nice play.
Again, it is one of the best things the Bellefontaine offense does consistently is that middle screen. They run it a lot, and Alder sniffed it out there early in the game in a tough situation, but they're sticking with it. Give them credit. Brian Carter does a good job of getting to full speed quickly.
Yeah. Another big gain all the way to the Alder 34. 1:23 to go in the half. St. Clair wants to pass, looking, throws downfield, and it's nearly picked off. Well, he had a little bit of an opening to Zyler Huffman if he gets it more to the left, and that could have been disastrous.
Good pass pro by the Chieftain offensive line.
Yeah. They've done a nice job with that. Alder, though, their back half, they play the ball well, and they cover pretty well. It's one of the better defensive backfields I've seen this year. And they do a good job adjusting their defense to situations like Coach Reed said, if it's 4th and short, they're going to play man and not let you get an easy pass. Here it's 2nd and 10. Huffman in motion. St. Clair wants to pass, has pressure coming, gets rid of it, throws, caught by Huffman, who takes a big hit, and he's got it at the 10.
It's a great pitch and catch.
Yes.
We've seen Zyler Huffman contribute, but not in that kind of situation, knifing up the seam. That's a tough catch because you're going to get hit. He's feeling it a little bit. Great throw by Rain St. Clair.
Yep, and it's great to see.
Take your time.
It's great to see a kid like Zyler Huffman back. He was injured in the summer. First and goal at the 10-yard line. Here's a give to Bryant Carter. Carter dancing. Got about 3. Game clock is down to 50 seconds to go.
Interesting. The Alder's going to take a timeout there. And I don't know if that's to conserve clock. And they say, hey, we want to crack at this thing. Or just, hey, I need to make sure I got my best stuff for defense.
I think it's strategic. What do we want to do?
Yeah. Just really quick right after the play. Rain St. Clair starting to move here. 14 of 28, 181 yards.
Wow.
So we're seeing some, not a decent amount of scoring, but we're seeing a ton of yards.
Well, this is huge right here. If the Chiefs make this a 21-14 game at the half, they're very much in it. In high school football, and I've said this a few times on the air, there is such a difference between a 1-score game at the half and a 2-score game at the half. Just the way the ball is possessed, and the game's not as long as the college or pro game. It's only 48 minutes. When you're down by 2 touchdowns to a good team, it's really hard to come back.
Chiefs get the ball coming out, right?
Yes. Second and goal at the 7. The Chiefs down 21-7. 50 seconds to go in this first half. St. Clair in shotgun. Brian Carter off to his right. Daring motions in, then motions back out. St. Clair wants to pass, throws, and the catch is made by Huffman. What a catch as he contorted his body. St. Clair got rid of it quickly. And just a sidearm delivery, and it will make it 3rd and goal at the 1.
When you talk about a hot route, Zyler Huffman ran that route right where the pressure came from. Give credit to Rain St. Clair for putting that ball right at the blitzing linebacker. Tough catch by Huffman too. Couldn't really see, but it didn't feel like he was going to catch that ball.
Well, he contorted. He's got.
Well, you say that Alder's not trying to conserve clock, but they immediately called a timeout again.
Yeah, this is more like what you see in college and pro stuff, but yeah, they usually have a good kicker. I guess you could look at it that way. And they have Cash Wheeler. He can take it.
Well, yeah, and they like their kick returners, and I guess the theory is what's it hurt. Bellefontain's going to have the same amount of plays whether they call a timeout or not. They'll either score in 2 plays or they won't.
This is where to me you got to run this football in the end zone, and they're not going to come in that formation. But 3rd and goal at the 1. They're going to go to a pass play, it appears. And St. Clair will run it. And still going forward, and he will not get in. He will not get in. A quarterback run. They kind of faked the motion man. Chiefs will call a timeout, and it will be 4th and goal at the 1 with 37 seconds to go. And we haven't talked about this guy much. I know this is where Coach Reed's already going, but this is where Carter Caudill, he makes a difference in so many parts of the football game. But he makes a difference clearly right here.
Well, no doubt. And, that caught me off guard. I didn't see the fake jet QB run coming there. How many QB design runs have the Chiefs run this year, Tips?
Oh.
3, maybe? Yeah. I don't know. There's been some botch plays that kind of look like it. I don't know. I mean, I get the impulse that you only got to go a yard, but in one of the most important plays of the game, you're doing something that you're not good at. So sometimes in play calling, it's the KISS method. Keep it simple. And
well, this is huge. And
I probably would have liked Bryant Carter there better, which this might be what we're seeing here.
Carter in the backfield, St. Clair under center.
Play action possibly.
Give to Carter, and not much there. He did not get it. He is stopped. Alder guessed run, they played run, and the Chiefs had it 3rd and goal at the 1, and they do not score. 33 seconds to go in the half, and the Chiefs still down 21-7. Still very early in this football game, but that might be a season ender, so to speak.
Yeah, it's frustrating. That's you probably, as you're standing there with 2 downs from the 1, you probably don't expect it to turn out that way with those two run plays. It's just not who you are offensively. It's not who you are in the backfield, and they're geeked up, and they are taking it away as much as really humanly possible. Now you're in jeopardy here if you're older. They're going to just push forward here.
Yeah, I guess quarterbacks sneak a ball at the 2-yard line.
But you don't have to give it to them.
Gain of about 3.5 by Brock Hughes. Chiefs could stop the clock if they wanted, but they will not.
No, that'll do it. Well, certainly a missed opportunity. There's enough good there that if you're going into the half and you're Jason Brown, you're telling your guys, hey, we got plenty to play for here because there is a path forward. You've seen that your offense can absolutely move this football and your defense can get stops at times, and that's how you go win a ball game in the second half.
And it is halftime, 21-7 Alder. Chiefs have moved it enough to have more than 7 points. That was kind of one of the bugaboos last week. I know it was a great win, but I think they ran 84 plays and didn't get a lot of points out of all those plays.
I mean, the Bellefontaine offense has been clunky all year. That's a word I've heard other people say, and it's just right. It's clunky. There's things about it you like at times. You say, oh, I love that, and then, oh, I really don't like that, and it lacks an identity. I still sit here in week 10. Now part of that is Carter Caudill leaving, but even when Carter Caudill was on the offense, I'm not sure that I could have identified their identity, and that's where it hurts you on the goal line. really goal line offense is tough. You would think it would be easier. It's just not. It's easier to play defense on the goal line because you have so much less real estate that you have to cover. So you have help defenders everywhere. And when you don't know exactly who you are and what you're good at and what you want to do, you probably end up in situations like that where you run a QB run for, one of the few times all year, and then you say, well, maybe we should have just given it to Carter, so we'll try that on fourth down. And by then they got their ears pinned back.
It is halftime. We'll get a chance to watch both bands, the Bellefontaine Band and the Jonathan Alder Band here on the HPTV network. I want to ask Rick one final thing here before we get to the band shows. What both coaches are talking about, what they want to tweak, and then how Bellefontaine gets the run defense a little stronger.
Well, if you're Jason Brown, nothing's changed. You're still, you kind of came in as an underdog. You're still an underdog, but you see enough positive things out of both sides of the football that you can sell to your kids, hey, we've got a path forward here, and just go out and make plays. I mean, there's no miracle speech to give. Clean up a couple things. Talk to your coaches about a couple things you want to do different. Defensively, that is a concern. I don't know that there's anything you're going to scheme up that's going to fix the Cash Wheeler problem, because he is a problem. Get lucky a little bit. Fall. They're doing some good things at times. So, get them behind the sticks and get a stop, get a turnover, and move forward. If you're Brent Glass, you're just saying, hey, nothing really changes for you either. You clean up a few things. I think some of the stuff I'd be a little bit worried about Rain St. Clair through the air. You're going to get a heavy dose of 20 or plus throws in the second half. You talk to your DBs about, not getting a step behind people and things like that. And, you play clean football and you get to week, I would say 11, but in their case, probably 12.
Yeah, if they win, they're getting a bye, the Alder Pioneers. Chiefs need to win to get in. They are down by 2 touchdowns, 21-7 here at the half at Performance Stadium. Let's get a chance to watch the bands tonight, the Bellefontaine Band and the Jonathan Alder Band here on the HPTV network.
At Horvath Productions, we offer specialized wedding films that cater to you and your spouse. With top-of-the-line equipment and storytelling skills, we can assure you that the biggest day of your lives will be captured from start to finish. On top of that, we offer some of the lowest rates in the industry so that you can have the best experience possible without having to give up other important aspects of your event. Visit horvathproductions.com/weddings to see how we can make your memory.
Planning an event? Make it unforgettable with Stocked Event Rentals. From weddings to parties and special events, we've got everything you need to turn your vision into reality. Need seating? We've got chairs and tables. Looking for some fun? Try our yard games like tumbling timbers and yard pong. Don't forget about our stunning frame tents. Perfect for any outdoor gathering. Visit StockedEventRentals.com or call 937-441-3610 to book today. Stocked Event Rentals, where your perfect event starts.
would be complete without this Tommy Two-Tone hit from April of 1982. The song led to a fad of people prank calling unsuspecting victims by dialing the infamous number on the wall. And it had to be permanently abandoned by phone companies. You know it, you secretly love it. It's time for Jenny. 8675309. Ladies and gentlemen, the pride of the tribe, the Bellefontaine High School marching band.
The class of 2026 would like to say thank you to our parents for the generous donation of the CO2 cannons for tonight's game. Your support and generosity means the world to us and makes tonight memorable for our students. Fans, please be aware that there will be a special effect of flash of light during tonight's performance. Thank you and enjoy the show. From Plains City, Ohio, under the direction of Mr. Justin Hennick and Mrs. Renee Hostetler. Pride of the Pioneers, the Jonathan Alder High School Marching Band. celebrate this 1997 boy band hit by the Backstreet Boys that was chosen by our senior class of 2026. Our tubas, low brass, and senior majorettes are featured in this arrangement of Everybody. In recent years, the band Fall Out Boy has released numerous chart-topping hits. We feature our flute and clarinet sections and drill written by senior band members Leah Pulcinelli and Sam Law. We present Immortals. Our closer this evening is the 2002 bop from pop princess Britney Spears. Our drumline will demonstrate their six skills and insane arrangement abilities of our percussion instructor Elijah Beachy in Toxic.
Great job by both bands tonight. The Bellefontaine High Marching Band, directed by Ken Hoffman. Ken, interestingly, comes up in the booth and does the PA work for his band. He's got it that much under control. They're sharp. I think they've gotten better throughout the year. They practice pretty much daily, just like a football team would, and Jonathan Alder band was good as well. We saw them at the Band Spectacular. They were sharp that night back in September. Here on the football field, it's halftime. Jonathan Alder leads Bellefontaine 21-7. Alder's been able to run the ball. Chiefs have not really run it too much, and that's one of the storylines. Also, Alder's made some plays when they had to inside their own 20-yard defensively. Otherwise, it could be closer, but Alder's made the plays when they've had to. They've played a better football game, and they lead at the half 21-7. It could be closer, though.
Yeah, you got to finish when you get in the red zone. You certainly got to finish when you get to the 2-yard line, 1-yard line with a couple plays. That's a tough pill to swallow for the Bellefontaine offense, and that'll be a key to their ability to come back in this ball game. Is can they pick the right thing at the right time? And they've done a little bit of that. Just need to do it a few more times and fall into a couple stops.
Well, I've said it a few times here. Obviously, if you joined us in the pregame in the first half, got to stop Cash Wheeler. He's number one for Alder. He's quick. He's fast, very fast, and he's a good back. And they block well for him. It's pretty simple. There's nothing, no trickeration here. It's just offensive linemen coming off the ball, creating running lanes, and away goes Cash Wheeler at the half. He's rushed. Rick's got the stats, but 200 yards-ish.
Almost 13 carries, 195 yards. Jonathan Alder, quarterback Hughes, 6 of 9, 81 yards. Number 3, Trey Bentley, 3 catches for 38 yards. And number 10, Ben McCain, 3 catches for 43 yards. Alder has 197 on the ground, 81 through the air. Looking at the stats for the Chiefs, Rain St. Clair, 15 of 29, 187 yards. Bryant Carter on the ground, 11 carries for 36 yards. Also added 2 catches for 21 yards. Caden Folk, a couple carries for 5 yards and a couple catches for 16. Patrick Stiley, 2 catches, 27 yards. Spencer Stiley, 5 catches, 72 yards, including a touchdown. Zyler Huffman, 3 catches, 36 yards. BHS stat of the night for them, and the reason they're still at least nosing around staying in this ball game is they are 4 of 7 on 4th down.
Yeah, they possess the ball. I would say, I don't know if Brian Lorette keeps this. He keeps about everything else. I would say the Chiefs have run more plays. But, the games are won and lost a lot of times in the red zone. And that's been where Jonathan Alder's made the plays defensively when they've had to. And they've been able to put together some drives, sometimes some really quick drives because of the explosive plays of Cash Wheeler. They're impressive, though. It's like the old Brett Glass teams to me. It's like he never left. There's nothing flashy. Their defense is, as Rick said, very base, 4-2-5. They don't blitz a lot. They cover well. They tackle well. They run to the football well. And then offensively, they can get you with the run in the pass, and they block well. So they're just a sound football team. And
that's the only way you're going to beat them is by being sound yourself. It won't be a gimmick. It'll be good, solid football, opportune football. And, the Chiefs will get a chance right here. I think, we will learn a lot right here on this opening drive of the second half.
Chiefs have to win to get in, but they'll have to rally down 21-7 as we begin the third quarter in just a minute here at Performance Stadium at Jonathan Alder High School. Jonathan Alder Division IV. They won't be that way much longer. It's a growing school, and they've had a bounce-back season. If they hold on and win this game, they're 9-1. They'll have a bye in the playoffs, and that's after a team last year went 5-6 and lost to Bishop Reedy in Week 11 by a point. So a big bounce-back year for the Pioneers.
Yeah, and I don't know a ton about that Region 15. They're projected as the number 3 seed. New Lexington, number 1. Indian Valley, 2. Columbus East, 4. That's a school that just off reputation I'd want to draw into early. Unioto, 5. Indian Creek, 6. Philo, 7. Heath, 8. These are all schools that just reputation-wise, I would think that Alder could make some hay. They're rated as the 5th best team in the region. Indian Valley and New Lex are kind of way up there at the top, and then it's a bunch of different schools kind of muddied in the same area.
Well, I can tell you this about Indian Valley. They're the defending state champs.
There you go. Yeah, that's a good place to start. I did know that, Tips. That's a new program.
Right.
I did kind of forget.
Yeah.
I feel like last year they burst onto the scene.
Yeah.
Really good running back, maybe?
Yes, he was
Mr.
outstanding.
Football kind of guy?
Yes. I don't know if he graduated, though.
I think he's back. I keep reading about him.
Okay. Kickoff by the Chiefs, kind of a bouncer down to about the 15. Sutton Daring goes up the right side. He's escorted out around his own 30 on the far side, and Chiefs need to drive the football. They also, Coach Glass talked about it before the game. Coach Brown talks about it every week before the game. Turnover battle. Now, that's not a big discrepancy in this game. The Chiefs had a long interception by Rain St. Clair, almost like a punt. Alder never turned it over, so there is a difference of 1 in turnover margin at this point. First and 10 for the Chiefs against this Pioneer 4-man look. 4-man front. They'll reset the play clock. Clock is at 11:56 to go in the third. Chiefs first and 10 at their own 30, down 21-7. Put 2 receivers in motion, a different look. St. Clair wants to pass, throws out to Spencer Stolle. Stolle cuts it up inside, and the junior got about 7.
Alder runs a ton of base type looks. That's the one place there which you saw that double motion that went from trips into the boundary to trips to the field. You had an advantage on him there for a minute where Spencer Stolle basically has enough space that you can turn and run a version of a run play essentially for a nice 7 yards on first down.
2nd and 3. Chiefs were turned away in the final 45 seconds of the first half. Here they'll run Bryant Carter. Gets a little bit of a seam hit, and he moves forward like all good backs and got about 6 or 7 yards. It's getting better. He is not a very big running back, maybe about 5'9", 150.
And you're giving him something maybe on both. We talked about it during halftime off air. I think Bryant Carter's he's done plenty for this team in the second half of the season because he's not a guy that the Chiefs came into week 1 thinking, hey, we're going to have to ride Bryant Carter, just sophomore, smaller guy. He's done everything you'd ask of him.
Well, this is a young football team, and Alder is too. They both start a lot of sophomores and juniors. First and 10. Carter is a sophomore. Zyler Huffman in motion left to right. St. Clair looking, takes a deep drop, throws downfield into coverage, a little bit high for Zyler Huffman, but Alder had it covered up. Pretty good coverage on a deep route up the right side.
Yeah, you kind of run like the motion and then the trail route. You have like the swap almost look to the field, I think, and you're hoping you kind of slide somebody in there wide open, and Alder's just really all over it. And they play very sound. They're hard to just totally outmatch.
2nd and 10. Kind of defense to me that I would guess doesn't give up a lot of big plays.
They're asking the Chiefs to run, though, right now. They've adjusted.
Carter slips out of 1 tackle and then got just about a yard. Good job by one of the defensive linemen for the Pioneers, Wyatt DeLong. Again, just a sophomore, number 70. Really makes a nice tackle. 3rd and 9.
If you're asking where Brett Glass's head's at, it's that, hey, we don't want to give up big plays. If Bellefontain's going to score, let's make them run the ball, churn out clock, shorten this game up, because he certainly, and on 3rd down, obviously he'll adjust, but even on 1st and 2nd down there, he had his defenders spread out, taking away throwing lanes.
All right, it looks initially, now you could blitz obviously, but it looks like just 3 pass rushers.
We've seen that pretty consistently tonight.
Yeah, 3rd and 9. Chiefs down 21-7. And they'll send 3. St. Clair throws off his back foot into coverage, and it's incomplete. Spencer Stolle, the intended target, and here comes the punt team. Now the first 4 of the second half, not what you wanted, and they did not close the first half very well at all.
Yeah, it's a good point, Tips, and that's probably a precursor to what we're about to see, but the Chiefs are definitely going to need something to go their way here. The last thing they can afford is an Alder drive.
4th and 9. Punt hits at the 30. Return
man
man picks it up.
Yeah, he fair caught it.
Yeah. On the bounce, by the way. Not something you see every day. Fair caught it after a hop.
Yeah, the moment he throws up the signal, though, he's given up his ability to be a returner.
Right.
Otherwise, that'd be a nice little rope-a-dope you could do.
Well, 1st and 10 for Alder at their 20. They got to go a long way. Chiefs need really an immediate stop. A turnover would be an excellent situation right here.
You know what's nice, Tips? We have not talked about these officials all night, and I feel like we've spent a lot of time talking officials the last few weeks. Last week, I believe there was 30-some penalties.
Yeah, no, this crew's done a nice job, and the teams have played cleanly, too.
No penalties for the Chiefs, right?
None.
And we've been critical. I've been critical of the offensive shooting themselves in the foot, and they have run a ton of motions tonight. They've run that yo-yo motion quite a bit with Daring or Stolle, and they've held their water up front.
Yeah. Chiefs have pass blocked well. Here comes an end around. Oh, Bentley works out of a tackle, and he's loose. Still loose, and finally tackled by Carson Drake at about the 23. That's almost what looks like a fatigue defense, but I can't say that's the case because we just started the second half.
Chiefs need Caden Folk to make that tackle. I mean, it's really as simple as that, and he's by far their best defensive player, and he's in a spot there where he's unblocked, and he just can't afford to try to do the Olay arm tackle.
Bentley's got some speed. I can see why he's right at the top of the league in receiving yards. They've got a couple of speedy guys. Bentley can go, and Wheeler can go. 1st and 10. This is a give to Cash Wheeler. He's got a seam. Look out. There he goes up the near side. Look at a reverse field. Still loose inside the 20 and escorted out by Caden Folk at about the 17. That's a backbreaker. That is just base football. I would guess maybe some double down and a kick out, and there's a huge running alley.
Yeah, that was the concern coming in. We were walking into the stadium talking to Dave Bazesko of Peak of Ohio that's doing the radio call. Actually, I think they're streaming the game tonight too. But he asked what we thought, and my concern was that seeing that they had handed the ball to Cash and Wheeler 36 times last week, that Brett Glass would say, hey, I think I know the recipe and that it would work. And I think right now it's working.
Yeah. I look for him to get it again right here. And here is Wheeler over the right side. Bounces forward and not tackled till he got about the 8. And he's just getting a convoy of blockers.
Well, you just get to the point where guys start to lose faith in the process on defense, and you start looking around hoping someone else makes the tackle, and you kind of lose that edge, and it's almost like a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Yeah.
And in fact, there's just not a whole lot you can do about it. It's you call a timeout or you give a pep talk, bring in a new guy.
Play with 15.
Yeah, you might try that. Ben Logan once played with 13 against the Chiefs and got away with it. Stole a ball game, so why not?
2nd and 2. Here goes Wheeler again, darting around. Cuts it up inside. He'll go towards the goal line. Touchdown. Very patient run. Very patient run by Cash Wheeler. That one a touchdown run from about 9 yards out, and Alder in control. They lead it 27-7 with 8:49 to go in the third quarter.
Well, backbreaker was the word you used, and that's the best way to describe it. You had a bunch of guys watching him walk into the end zone there.
Logan Rich to kick it, and the Chieftains side is dead silent. It's pretty quiet on this side as well, but Alder has seized control of this football game right now. Logan Rich's conversion attempt is up, and it's good. 28-7 Pioneers, 8:49 to go in the third. What a difference a year makes. The Chiefs a year ago, which you can't always compare this, but I'm going to bring it up anyways. A year ago, Bellefontaine won this contest 49-7. And 1 year later, it's a much different situation.
Well, certainly, I speak for Bellefontaine, not so much Alder. You're talking about just two very, very different football teams.
Yeah, no question.
Cash Wheeler, 16 carries, 252 yards with 4 touchdowns. I don't know. Garage Sports is expanding into the CBC tips. Just in case anyone's curious, we're about to do a CBC preview for the winter sports, so we will be covering Jonathan Alder moving forward.
Wow.
But my history is not strong at all. I don't know what the single game rushing record is for Jonathan Alder. But if this was a Bellefontaine game, I think the record is 320 or so. Garrett Gross, 2019.
335, I believe.
335 tips. Amazing the things you hold on to.
Yeah,
we need to hire you at Garage Sports.
No,
but
I'm good. I'm just a numbers geek.
252, I got to think he's nosing around an all-time mark.
Well, as many great players as that. And Cam Jewell would have huge stats.
Yeah, that's true.
Because he was he was another fast guy. But I would say Cam Jewell is well over 300 yards on one of his nights.
That London game where they went back and forth, I don't know if you remember that.
It's like 56-45 or something like that.
He scored on like a 70-yard touchdown, 3 straight plays or something.
Yeah. And Cam Jewell was something special. He was a bigger guy than Cash Wheeler, but both guys can flat out go.
Well, Alder certainly has something cooking, in general. We talked in the pregame off air about their sports programs are dominant in the CBC. I mean, this fall they've won a CBC title in practically everything that's been competed. They're going to finish second in football, but they've swept the cross country. I believe they won the boys soccer. They won volleyball.
Here comes a draw play to Brian Carter. Goes over the right side. Not much. Got a couple. 28-7. Alder leads at 8:35 to go. And Alder's good offensively. I don't know if I'd say they're great out of all the years we've watched high school football, but this is a good offensive football team. I'm going to tip my hat to London where I'm going with this, Coach Reed. London held them to 0 points. London has not given up a point in league play yet. And for London to shut out this offense, I know they shut out everybody else, but that's some work.
Yeah, London is a different animal, that's for sure.
2nd and 7. St. Clair looking, throws over. Oh, nice catch. Going behind his body with Spencer Stolley, and he makes a couple of nice moves and still going forward up by the 50-yard line.
Yeah, Bellefontaine has really done a good job tonight of throwing that over-the-middle stuff, that's a little scary and a little dangerous, but when you hit it, you often find those yards after the catch because there's usually not immediate support.
Well, you could see that you use the phrase arm talent. Range St. Clair can really throw a beautiful football.
Doubling back, 369 yards, Cam Jewell versus London. So at the very least, he needs to get to 369.
Bryant Carter on a toss, really no gain. Yeah, and Jonathan Alder still lost that game.
Yeah, they did.
Your running back goes for like 370 and you lose the game.
He had 2,000 yards on the season.
Well,
373 the year before against KR. So that's going to be my unofficial record looking forward here. Hopefully for the Chiefs, we're not talking about that.
Well, I think that, Coach Glass has bigger fish to fry in Week 12 and so forth. I'm not sure Cash Wheeler will get the ball more than maybe a couple more times tonight.
Yeah, I mean, part of it's what do the Chiefs do here? If they go down and score, it's a 2-score game.
Yeah.
Not exactly going to, close up shop.
St. Clair throws over the middle, caught by Spencer Stolley. Good tackle by Bentley. Trey Bentley, a two-way player, sets up 3rd and about 6. Coming up at the postgame, we'll have our Rick Reed player of the game. Cash Wheeler, one of those guys, I'm sure, that's in the mix. But that London Jonathan Alder game that Rick was referencing a couple of moments ago is, I think, in 23. And
Correct.
The Chiefs won a huge game week 9 or 10 here 2 years ago. Hayden Manns sacked Grant Horn late in the game to kind of seal the victory.
I think we won by 1 score that night.
28-23. I looked it up today, so that's not my numbers weirdness. I just looked it up because I thought you might ask me about that.
Hey, I don't think you're weird tips.
3rd and 6. St. Clair wants to pass, throws. Ooh, that one's high over everybody's head, and it sails incomplete.
Well, they are in a true drop 8 at that point. Those are tough windows. You probably could have gone back to the underneath stuff to Spencer Stolley. Chiefs punting here, huh?
Yeah, 4th and 6. 6:25 to go in the game. I mean, the position on the field calls for punt, but the score, you could debate. They've got to score 3 touchdowns at least.
Yeah, I mean, is this time for the fake punt again?
Yeah, I can't believe you're going to see it twice in a game. But never say never. 4th and 6. St. Clair is the punter, standing at his own 40. And he will kick this away. High punt, nice punt. Hits about the 17. Bounces, and will be down at around the 11 or 12-yard line. 6:17 to go in the 3rd. Alder leads it 28-7. Chiefs come out. I know you talked about you can't really fix your defense. You are who you are, and I totally get that. You have to play with the players you have. They just have a lot of young players. Tristan Smiley is a freshman. Braylon Saxon's a fine player. He's had an outstanding season, but he wasn't a guy that was even a starter at the beginning of the year in that defensive front.
No, he was. I would guess he played in a couple of JV games at the beginning of the season.
Yes.
I know he did.
And here comes a run. Play
Smiley
inside.
coming across there, getting in on it.
Yeah, Smiley makes the tackle. Got to give your you won't talk about this, but I'm going to bring it up. Got to give your son, a young chieftain. I think he's in first grade. He's a football champ. I saw a story a few days ago in this rec football league that you kind of coordinate with a bunch of other coaches. It's flag football, young football. His team won the championship last week.
They did.
And I know you said several weeks ago you were like, our team's okay. Well, next thing you know, you're a champ.
I was Lou Holtz in your tips. I under promise and over deliver.
All right.
I got better. I was the quarterback in that league. I got to play quarterback. I was living out my dreams. I struggled there mid-season. Westlake, Baylor Wallace's grandpa got on me a little bit. I thought I was about to get the hook. I thought Josh Wallace was coming in for me.
Well,
he's a D1 athlete. He got me playing quarterback. What are we doing? He's too tall. That's the problem. I'm close to the height of the kids, so the arm angle's better.
Okay.
No, the flag football, that was a fun deal. We play K1, 2, and then 2, 3, 4. And we had 12 teams this year, about 80-some-odd kids. Good opportunity for the young guys. We want to expose them to football at a young age. We're competing with soccer for those kids, and, nothing against soccer, just trying to win football games. And, every now and then you see that kid that's on the soccer team. You say, man, that guy, we could have used him at wide receiver, but he started playing soccer when he was 5 years old and stuck with it. So we try to maybe head that off at the pass. And then we're also giving those third and fourth graders a little bit of chance. Some people don't want to play tackle that young, and I don't really have a strong opinion about it one way or the other, but I think people should do what they want, and we give them an opportunity. Coach Brown's son, Brix Brown, got to play and played quarterback, and he'll probably play more lineman guy when he plays tackle, but it's a good experience for everybody.
Here comes Cash Wheeler. They've run this play a bunch. Gets a leading lineman to come around the edge, and he darts forward to about the 23, and it's a first down. Alder had to overcome a long down and distance because of an offensive holding, but it didn't matter. Boy, they've run that play to death. They run to the short side, get one or two blockers to lead the way, and it's been a nightmare to stop.
Yes, that is a accurate way to describe it.
Well, it doesn't sound great, but I'm just telling you what's going on here. I mean, and they played well. I know you watched film of them last week. Is Alder maybe played a little better tonight than they did last week?
Well, I think part of it's matchups. Kenton Ridge is, a big physical team, and they have a knack for, there's times over the years where the Chiefs will beat up on Kenton Ridge. Now, not that we beat up on them this year because it was a great game. And then Kenton Ridge will give a team like a London in years past a better game than maybe Bellefontaine does. And a lot of that's just kind of the dudes and the way they play. KR is a little more built to hold up to this run game, even though they didn't exactly have a lot of success stopping him either.
No, but they scored a bunch. 35-33 last week. Alder won the game. Kenton Ridge scored with about 10 seconds to go in the fourth quarter to pull within 2, and then Alder stopped the 2-point play, and that was the ball game.
Well, and Julian Daniels is back, the quarterback for Kenton Ridge. So
man, he's a good one.
Yeah, and he had a good night.
Brock Hughes throws. The receiver makes the catch, got tackled immediately.
Sutton Daring.
Yeah, Sutton Daring. Well, wow. The official on the far side said, give him the first down. And that's probably about the right marking, I guess. Nice play by Pioneers. First down, Jonathan Alder. Chase Metzel with the catch. Big receiver. He's about 6'5".
We talked on the way over, just Alder's an interesting team in this Central Buckeye Conference. They don't look like any other community. They feel, every year you come over here, they feel more and more like a Dublin school. Obviously as Columbus expands out into this area, I am glad to have them.
Brock Hughes wanted to pass, has pressure, and then throws it incomplete. Slow developing play.
I've thought about grounding here. I know number 1 is in the ballpark, and that's what they're probably going to say. He's probably close enough, but
I think it was. Cash Wheeler was around there.
Alder is just a different kind of community, whereas in the other schools in the CBC maybe have a little more in common, and they certainly seem to be on the high end of talented kids, and then it seems maybe even just families that understand how to be successful. The dominance they're having in all the other sports in particular is just almost stunning.
Would you compare it maybe to a Tip City?
Yeah, kind of a more up and coming, like more trendy type Tip City, I guess.
Okay.
But similar similar kind of kids.
I'm not sure Alder has the same football team as Tip City this year, and they're both good teams. But you told me Tip City's a team that could be in the Final Four.
Yeah, no, I don't think Alder would be on their level. Now, I think London and Tip City, we've talked about that in the regional final, possibly in Division III, Region 12. I tell you, I like Jonathan Alder a lot more than I like Tip City. That was a school that a lot of us were not sad to see go from the Central Buckeye Conference.
Yeah, well, they got Scott Rule. That's a good place to start. Does a great job here at Alder. Pass into coverage, incomplete. Sutton Daring played the ball well, kind of took a hard landing. Well, he's a guy that just takes a lot of contact throughout the game.
Yeah, he's at the point of a lot of collisions. He and Spencer Stolley in particular, they play a ton of downs, and they're always in motion and active on offense. Yeah, they're tired every night.
They're cross country dudes on Friday night.
Yeah.
Cross country regionals tomorrow. Bellefontaine's got a huge volleyball game tomorrow. They'll play Cincinnati Turpin at Fairfield. That's down by Cincinnati. And the winner moves on to the regional. And Bellefontaine, in volleyball history, I don't think they've ever been in a regional.
I don't believe so. This is the third district final. Now, of course, they're a little, not to take anything away from them, but they are a little easier to get to nowadays. With the adding of divisions.
Well, more divisions, yes.
Just you're winning a game or two now, and you're in the district finals, whereas in the past you were winning 3 to 4 games to get there.
Good, nice little punt return by Patrick Stolley for about 12 yards. 2:40 to go in the third. The Chiefs do get a stop, but they're down 28-7 here at Jonathan Alder High. Chiefs will play Cincinnati Turpin for the right to move on to the final 16 of the state. Jonathan Alder, which went 10-0 in volleyball in the league. They had a heck of a team. They have a heck of a team. They will play Columbus Hartley in the district final tomorrow at Mount Vernon.
They beat Watterson
They
recently?
did. Yeah. They did, yeah. Allie Rule is the head coach. That's Scott Rule's wife. She's a very good volleyball coach. Little swing pass to Patrick Stolley up the right side for about 10 or 11 yards. Alder only lost 2 matches all year. One to Marysville and the other one to Centerville, so a couple of big schools, but Alder has a heck of a volleyball team, as do the Chiefs. The CBC's had some good volleyball lately. London is good. Kent Ridge is really good.
And, on the other side, Indian Lake's pretty good.
Yeah.
I think their season's wrapped up, but they had a nice season.
Yeah. 1st and 10 for the Chiefs. There's a pop pass. Not much there. Maybe about a yard. Chiefs need some magic, down 28-7. 2:15 to go in the third quarter. There's still time. That clock is not their friend. They just need to get a touchdown here before the end of the quarter, then see where it goes from there. Second and 9. St. Clair wants to pass. Throws, caught by Stolley. Oh, the ball broken up. He had it for a moment. Alder does a good job making clean hits. That's, I think, the third time tonight they have separated the receiver from the football.
That was a good ball by Rain St. Clair,
Yeah.
and that's a ball that Patrick Stolley normally catches. Obviously, Alder does a good job of punishing him a little bit there and making it tough on him, but put some zip on that ball.
Yeah. C.J. Butler comes out wide to the left. Patrick Stolley, after that hard hit, comes out. I think he's okay. He's just going to take this play off. 3rd and 9, quick pass on the right side. Oh, Alder is all over it, and the receiver is cut down for a loss.
You got to block that point man. That's the thing. When they're playing up, they're going to bulldog the point man of the formation, and you got to get that guy blocked, or your partner is kind of a sitting duck. I guess the Chiefs punt here. I mean, they did the last time, and it was less down in distance.
4th and 9. Yeah. They're not sending out the punt team.
And I'm okay going for it, just based off the precedent of the last time.
Yeah. Well, the game clock is winding down here. 1:15 to go in the third quarter. Alder leads the Chiefs 28-7. 4th and 9. Pressure coming. St. Clair gets rid of it just in time, and it's incomplete. Bounced around, nearly caught by Spencer Stolley. Then on the bounce, almost caught by Zyler Huffman, but Alder gets another big 4th down stop.
Those
And I
fourth
wonder-
and 10s are tough. They're just, everybody in the stadium knows that you got to get it there, and you get about 8 guys in every window you can imagine, and it's a thread and a needle.
Well, their back 8 plays well. There's just not a lot of openings, and again, they start 4 sophomores and a freshman on this defense. This is a team that's going to keep getting better. Brock Hughes, senior quarterback in shotgun. Gives it off to his running back. I think it's maybe Overmeyer. Oh, nice finish.
Plug and play.
Yeah,
New number, same result.
yeah.
Rain St. Clair, 21 of 40, 217 yards. Spencer Stolle with the game of his season, 9 catches for 112 yards.
Yeah, he's had a good night.
He's had a good year.
He has.
I think he's an all-league player. They'll talk this Sunday about all-league stuff. I think Spencer Stolle is a first-team all-league guy at receiver. His numbers kind of bear that out, and then give him, I certainly give him extra credit for the job he does on defense.
Running back this time hit the backfield, but breaks out of a tackle. And Overmeyer got about 5. He runs hard. I would ask this, though, about Spencer Stolle, coach. Is he a better offensive or defensive player? I think he's got great hips for a corner. So
Yeah,
I know he's known more for offense. He probably plays more snaps on offense, but I think it's a fair question.
Yeah, I still probably prefer him on offense. I think his skill set fits that style of football. I love him. He's a guy that he would be even more effective if he had, maybe a few more weapons around him, as far as like some of the receivers of the past that were more downfield guys, O'Reilly Neer, C.J. Wilson. I really love him on underneath and screens.
Comes another run by Overmeyer, and he's bumped out of bounds. But a first down run. 5 seconds to go in the third quarter here on the HPTV network, and Alder in front, 28-7. Clock stopped as he went out of bounds. No game tomorrow. And that's been a thing for years. Just no JV game after week 10, right?
Correct.
Some teams getting ready for the playoffs, and that clock will wind down to zeros. We'll take a break. After 3 quarters here on the HPTV network, Jonathan Alder on their home turf leads the Bellefontaine Chiefs 28-7. Back with the fourth quarter after this.
At Horvath Productions, we offer specialized wedding films that cater to you and your spouse. With top-of-the-line equipment and storytelling skills, we can assure you that the biggest day of your lives will be captured from start to finish. On top of that, we offer some of the lowest rates in the industry so that you can have the best experience possible without having to give up other important aspects of your event. Visit horvathproductions.com/weddings to see how we can make your memory.
Planning an event? Make it unforgettable with Stocked Event Rentals. From weddings to parties and special events, we've got everything you need to turn your vision into reality. Need seating? We've got chairs and tables. Looking for some fun? Try our yard games like tumbling timbers and yard pong. Don't forget about our stunning frame tents. Perfect for any outdoor gathering. Visit StockedEventRentals.com or call 937-441-3610 to book today. Stocked Event Rentals, where your perfect event starts. Welcome back to Jonathan Alder. Thanks to Stocked Event Rentals for sponsoring Chieftain football all year long, home and away here on the HPTV network. The website is horvathproductions.tv. Alder is on a march again. This time at the Bellefontaine 28-yard line as we begin the fourth quarter. Alder's in front, 28-7.
Jeff Stockton, a 1983 grad, BHS alumni, giving back to the program.
Mm-hmm.
Always amazes me the amount of guys that go through this program and the ladies that go through these programs and then settle down and support us.
Yeah. Pass out on the right side, caught by Bentley. Trey got about 4 or 5, 2nd and 6 coming up.
Jeff played on some Chuck Asher's early teams.
Yeah.
I think he was probably in high school when Chuck Asher came. Maybe played a year under Larry Young. I forget the math, but was kind of at the beginning of that run of the 9-1 for 3 straight seasons.
Yeah, back then, which is amazing to say how things have changed. Those were, according to a lot of the folks in town, some of the best Bellefontaine football teams ever, and they never got in the playoffs. Not their own fault. They only took 2 teams.
Yeah, and only 5 divisions. So, yeah, there's a lot of teams watching. It was a really bad system. I'm glad they've changed it.
2nd and 7. Here comes Bentley again. Showed off that speed to the near side inside the 10. Goes towards the goal line. And, oh, I thought he got in. But the official there says he went out about the 5-yard line.
Well, I did not think he went in. I thought maybe he was out about the 2, but.
Oh, boy. Not sure what stat man Brian Lorette saw. He had a great view. Derek McNutt, our director-producer, had a great view. He reached that thing towards the pylon to me. That could have been a touchdown. But
well, based off of recent history tips, I don't know that it's going to make a whole lot of difference. I think this Alder run game is going to find a way to get in 4 snaps.
Mm-hmm. Hughes and shotgun Overmeyer, now the running back. Give to Overmeyer over the left side, and he gets a nice block, and he goes towards the pylon. Touchdown. 5-yard touchdown run, and the Pioneers now lead it 34-7 over Bellefontaine here early in the 4th quarter. Braxton Overmeyer, the senior, looks good carrying the football as well. He's one of the glue guys, one of the captains for the Pioneers. 11:02 to go in the 4th quarter, and Alder leads at 34-7. It was 21-7 at the half. Bellefontaine has a decent crowd here tonight. Alder has a big crowd for senior night. Logan Rich out for his 5th conversion kick of the night. Ball's put down, the kick is up, and the kick is good. 11:02 to go in the football game. Alder leads Bellefontaine 35-7. And, Rick's got a real feel for this after watching 3 quarters. Your thoughts on Alder and how you would describe them? I know we've talked about this summer. They're so sound. Anything else that jumps out about that?
Bill, I don't know if I got any more feel than anyone else. I think it's pretty obvious. I think my mom, if she's watching, which she might be actually, I think she knows. If she doesn't come, she generally is locked in. I think everybody that's watching knows that this is just a team that is having their way on the ground. And, they got a quarterback that if he needs to can make some plays and Brock Hughes. But it's a simple sport when you dominate on the ground. And
once Coach Glass, this was my fear coming into the game. We talked on the drive over about this. That if they can run it, Coach Glass has won a lot of games. He's not going to overcomplicate it.
Brock Hughes, 13 of 18, 142 yards, and number 3 Trey Bentley, 9 catches, 88 yards.
Yeah.
That's just a whole lot of offense. That sounds like 400 plus at this point.
Spencer Stolley picks it up on the near side, right around the 11. Tries to get out of a tackle, then gang tackled around the 21-yard line.
Yeah, at this point in the game, you're looking around. Obviously, the result is what it is, and you got a few seniors I'll expect to see here that don't get much playing time. That if you're Jason Brown, you're going to make sure they get a little bit of time here in their last game.
10:56 to go in the football game. Chiefs season coming to a close here tonight. Unless something dramatically happens, they will finish the year 5-5. Alder will go to 9-1.
It's that old familiar feeling when you get to the end of a season and you look around and you got seniors that you've spent 4 years of your life with, and you know that you're in the final moments.
Pass out to Stolley on a quick screen. Got maybe 3 or 4.
What you learn, though, is, every year you have a new crew that you're sad to see go, and you think, oh, how will this continue? And every year a new crop shows up, and you do it all over again. It's one of probably my favorite things about high school athletics is just kind of the seasons and how they run together, and there's comfort in it. But it's always tough to say goodbye, and it's tough for the kids. I mean, it's the difference with football and other sports is this is it. You're not going to do this in your day-to-day life.
Quick pass on the left side, caught by the receiver who goes upfield for what I believe is a first down.
High school football is just such a unique occurrence that it's really specific to our country and our time. I mean, and we've talked before that I worry that, its importance has waned some. I don't think there's any doubt that if you were at a Bellefontaine football game in the mid-'80s and even the '90s and beyond, people don't attend it as much as they used to. It's still really popular, but it's such a great experience for so many people.
Throw over on the right side, caught by Patrick Stolle, who takes a hard hit that time. Secures the catch, and I believe a first down. Good hit made that time by Drew Hughes, the freshman corner.
You see these programs and these schools that do it right, and they do it at a high level, and how it can raise up a community. And, it's an opportunity for lots of people, not just the guys on the field, but the families and the band and the cheerleaders and support staff. And it's a positive experience for so many people, local businesses.
1st and 10, catch made by the receiver, who's tackled by Hughes again. Hughes has been a solid tackler. Patrick Stolle with another catch.
Brian Lorette was talking off air about, these guys that work for the Chieftain football team, which I don't know how much we've talked about them this year. Brian Lorette does the stats. Mike Mossbarger does the film, and Andy Smith does the on-field end zone camera. Those guys like to go out to eat on the road games, and they always find a local establishment to give their business to. And, what a great thing for those local businesses that they're getting the fans to come into town.
Yeah, that's true. Running back is Bryant Carter. He's got a first down.
It's one of those things that Bellefontaine, really changed in my time in Bellefontaine in the last 20 years. 20 years ago, there just really wasn't a whole lot of great places to go eat. But now, if you're playing the Chiefs, and you hear this. I mean, you do hear people say, "Hey, I'm excited." We had referees in wrestling that loved coming to do the Jimmy Mac because they couldn't wait to go to 600 downtown or Don's Downtown Diner.
Right. Well, yeah, that's something to talk about.
Here in Plain City, it's the Granary.
Yeah, people like their food.
They gave us some Pioneer Pizza up here tonight too.
Yeah.
Tips.
Here comes a crossing route to Spencer Stolle, and he's gang tackled, kind of an awkward landing. It appears he's okay. First down to the 34. 9:05 to go in the fourth. The Pioneers lead the Chiefs 35-7.
Spencer Stolle's having a night. 11th catch. Got to be about 130, 140 yards.
Out of all the running backs we've seen, 10 weeks worth is Cash Wheeler right at the top of your board.
He is. Westerville Central, I forget the name. You'll know it.
Caleb King, I believe. I know his last name was King.
It was hyphenated. We struggled with it.
Patrick Stolle towards the goal line. Ooh, can't quite reel it in.
That's a great ball. That is a great ball by Rain St. Clair. I know that's a tough catch, but that's a great ball. Patrick kind of he wasn't sure. He needed to flip his head the other way.
Right, yeah. What shoulder?
He tried to go over his left shoulder, then he had to do it Willie Mays style. But that is a really good ball.
Outside shoulder is how it's drawn up by the coaches. That time, I think they could have gone either way. He was pretty open. He had some pretty good separation. 2nd and 10. King, though, from Westerville Central, I think is the best. I'll tell you what, Cash Wheeler might be the second best.
Yeah, well, certainly at least the second best.
Bryant Carter gets a screen. Got about 5 or 6. I mean, Carter Caudill, we see him every week until he was injured, but he's right up there too. All different backs,
no
by
doubt.
the way. All different. King, Cash Wheeler, and Carter Caudill. All three are different. Caudill has a couple of college visits, by the way. Saw him earlier this week at the high school. He's going to Tiffin University and Ashland University, a couple of Division II schools.
Well, he absolutely could play for both of those schools and contribute. I have no doubt of that.
And the ball nearly picked off on the deflection. 4th and 3. Would you see Carter's future, Rick, by the way, more on the offensive or defensive side of things?
I think he can play either. If I was recruiting him, I would probably want him on offense just because I feel like he's so versatile. Now, I like Ashland because they do play with a fullback. A lot of schools, just don't run that style. But Carter absolutely can help you. On defense, he is a little undersized. I mean, you don't generally have your Mike Backer his size, but he plays a lot bigger than he is. So I have no doubt that he can't play Backer at that level. But he's really a prototypical fullback sniffer type on offense.
4th and 3, Chiefs will go. Here comes a blitz. St. Clair gets away from the blitzer. Looking. It's going to have a scramble. Drill throws. and it's incomplete. Tried to connect with Caden Polk around the 13, and Alder gets another stop on 4th down. The Chiefs have possessed the ball, made some first downs, and then they'll move it for a while, and Alder will make that stop on 4th down. 8:01 to go in the 4th. And I think that will seal it as far as the game here. It may have been over before that, but now you can really start to feel that the where the clock's at and the score's at. 8:01 to go in the game. Chiefs down 35-7. Alder's going to finish this season 9-1 before the playoffs. Chiefs will bow out at 5-5. And again, you're always looking for that next game, which I know will not be until next August, but the Chiefs do have a lot of young faces out there. Even Caudill's out there right now. Trey Deo, Tristan Smiley.
Well, unfortunately,
there goes the running back again, trying to go up the left side, and Caden Folk will save the touchdown. A nice run by one of the backup running backs, Christian Amon, a sophomore. And again, well blocked. The blockers really get on their people and just don't let you make the tackle.
That's a good-looking sophomore back that has probably been on the JV bus. Right. So, yeah, good times ahead for the Pioneers.
Yeah, yep, no doubt.
Well, what I was going to say, unfortunately, the Chiefs have gotten a 4-game preview of life after Carter Caudill. I mean, normally he's the kind of guy you lose, obviously, at the end of the season, and you say, what's it going to be like with him not here, being such a big part of the program for 3 years.
Another nice run by the backup running back, Christian Amon, the sophomore. He's very patient. That's one thing I noticed about Cash Wheeler. Even though he's a fast, explosive guy, I think he's very patient, letting things develop.
Back to Carter Caudill, what they've learned is that they have a huge hole at Mike linebacker, and I don't know that there's an obvious answer to that. You're losing Caden Folk, you're losing Caleb Overman, you're losing Blake Loomis, who's filled in his absence. The guy that's standing out there right now, it looks like maybe even playing Mike right now, or maybe he's playing the Sam Will, is Avon Caudill, his younger brother.
Uh-huh.
So, that's probably where you start. You got to find some linebackers. Defensive line, you probably feel a little bit better because you got these young guys. You got a lot of dudes that have contributed. Julius Butler's back. Saxton is back. Rogan is back. Deo's back. Kason Regula's got in some. Smiley's back. The back half, you get some of these guys back. Sutton Daring, Spencer Stolley. You lose Carson Drake. That really hurts.
Little pitch play, and the running back still breaking tackles.
You lose Patrick Stolley, that hurts. You lose both Board brothers. You get Butler back. C.J. Butler will have to play, obviously, a lot more. So, I think in the back half you probably feel okay. You feel like you got enough back that you'll build off of. D-line, you're okay. Linebacker's the big question mark, because they didn't have depth there this year, so the young guys just don't quite exist at that position. Offensively, you bring back Bryant Carter, Rain St. Clair, Spencer Stolley, Sutton Daring. Offensively, you feel really good about the guys you bring back. You lose Jesse Castle in the O-line, and that's it. And you don't lose Blake Loomis. I said Blake. I always think Blake Loomis is a senior. Blake Loomis is a junior.
Yeah.
So he's back, and he's a huge part of their team next year.
Throw to the end zone. And a couple of flags thrown.
It probably was.
Board McLean just didn't look back for the ball. Bumped the receiver as well, so it'll be defensive pass interference with 6:55 to go in the game. Alder up 35-7.
Well, that's your answer at Mike Backer is Blake Loomis. I had him right. Blake has been playing so much that sometimes it does feel like he's a senior.
Two-way player. Landon Brown, a senior defensive lineman in there right now, Rick.
Yep, that was one of the guys I was kind of looking for. LB is a guy that has put his dues in the program. He's never, we've never called his name, but he loves Chieftain football. He's put in the work for 4 years, and it's not just about the guys that get their names in the paper. And LB's a guy I've really enjoyed working with the 2 years I did, and then had him in class. And
Coach Brown does a great job with that too. He makes it. He wants to make sure everybody gets their chance.
Well, yeah, LB's got a chance to make a memory. I mean, it's not how you want to do it, but right now, if I'm on the sidelines, I'm locked into him, trying to get him a tackle here, something he can hold on to.
1st and goal at the 9. Good blocking by Alder again. The running back bulldozes towards the defender, finishes strong. Ford McLean made the tackle, maybe about a 5-yard run over the left side. 6:41 to go in the game. Alder leads at 35-7. They get a score here, it turns into a running clock situation. Second and goal at the 4. Rick, do you think NIL will be part of the high school football landscape?
Well, I think it is right now, isn't it?
All right. Well, I think they're still taking votes. There's a pass to the big receiver who gets his first touchdown of the night. Chase Mutzel, the senior, 6'5" receiver, makes the catch right by the pylon, and Alder leads at 41-7 on that touchdown pass.
I didn't quite understand that, but technically, temporarily, I believe it is allowed. So
okay.
Can Horvath Productions and/or Garage Sports or even Derek McNutt's painting business, can we offer some cash? How is that going to work?
I'm not sure the voting window closed yet, though, but maybe there's going to be a couple of
I thought
votes.
there was a temporary injunction that made it legal.
All right.
I think they're voting to make it permanent.
Okay.
And I think they're going to just go ahead and allow it because I think Ohio's one of only 6 schools or states that doesn't allow it.
Kick by Logan Rich is up, and it's good, and we're in a running clock situation. 5:45 to go in the game. The clock just keeps churning away. I thought that it stopped after the extra point, but nope. So this will get done very quickly the next 5.5 minutes. 42-7 Alder.
Well, I have a lot of questions about the NIL because my first question is, who does it even affect? I'm not being facetious, just like locally at Bellefontaine. Now, take Tavian St. Clair out of the conversation because that is totally different. I do believe had NIL existed, he obviously did have value over the last few years, but not him. Is there anyone else in recent memory that you're going to pay a Chieftain football player for his name, image, and likeness? Now, maybe the answer is kind of no, but the guys at the highest level, the 5-star Ohio State recruits like Tavian St. Clair. So that's who it affects?
That's a good question because still in small-town America, they are a well-known person in that town, so it's all relative.
They bring value to your business and the fact that you want to pay them to sponsor.
And I think you're going to see it in some small towns. This ball is still live, and I think the Pioneers got it.
Well, they 100% got it. The Bellefontaine players are just kind of standing around, and they heard the running clock and thought that maybe this game was over. And unfortunately, it probably means Alder's going to put another touchdown on the board.
And that's not. And Coach Glass, he's not trying to do anything to pile it on here. He's just trying to squib it so the Chiefs will just fall on it and nothing really happens.
Exactly. I don't think Brett Glass was on site.
No, not at all. But there was a lot that happened because Bellefontaine just didn't go get the ball. Wow. That's surprising.
Yeah, I don't even really have a strong opinion for or against it. I do think it's a logical conclusion of capitalism. I mean, if you're a capitalistic society, that's what you do. You say, hey, you can pay. Now, I think it's good for high school athletics? I don't think so. I don't think it's been good for college. It's good for the kids getting the money. I don't blame them. I get every dime I could get, I promise you. At any point in my college career, if they had offered me really any kind of real money to do anything else, I would have done it. So I don't begrudge guys for getting money. Now, is it good for the fans? No, probably not. I mean, the product has certainly changed so much over the last few years, just the transfers alone, which, good for the guys that are getting and gals that get a transfer to where they want to go. The coaches have been doing it for years. The coaches make $10 million contracts, so the illusion of amateurism has long been gone. But, I don't know that it's good. My concern would be that big schools with big-time players can then buy players. You can say, hey, if you'll transfer to Marysville Honda will give you a $20,000 NIL deal.
The rich will get richer.
You would think.
That's what's going to happen. Yeah.
So we maybe need to start aligning our donors. We need to get Dairy Queen and Easton Water and Stocked Event Rentals.
When I say the rich will get richer, I mean the powerhouse schools. I don't mean the players.
No, I know. I'm saying we got to fight back in Bellefontaine. We got to get all these local. Get Horvath Productions sponsoring guys, and we got to get in the portal.
Well, it's been, I guess, interesting for college, but it hasn't been handled very well because there's just so much non-rules, so to speak. It's just kind of the old cliche is the wild, wild west.
Yeah, and you'd think at some point they probably do structure it a little bit, which, the players will probably resist that because it's kind of like in the professional sports. Major League Baseball is the one union that has found a way to not allow a lot of restrictions, and they make by far the most money.
They also don't have a salary cap, by the way.
Which is they fought like crazy to not get.
Yeah. World Series starting tonight. The L.A. Dodgers at Toronto. I think the L.A. Dodgers win that series. You have a pick?
I don't. I am kind of out of the loop on baseball tips. I'm aware of who's playing.
Second and 6. Alder continues to just kind of move the ball with their ground game. 2:10 to go in this football game. Alder in front, 42-7. They've really dominated this game, especially after the half. They've outplayed the Chiefs from the jump, but they really have dominated after the second half. I think the turning point or the biggest sequence of the night was right before half. The Chiefs had it 3rd and goal at the Alder 1. Ran back-to-back running plays, couldn't score, and it could have been 21-14 at the half. Still would have been a tough chore for the Chiefs to stop this Alder offense, but it would have been interesting. But once it was 21-7 a half, Alder got a stop to start the third quarter, then went down and scored, and that's kind of been, high snap, ball's loose. Alder, as a running back, pick it up, and on 3rd and long, he's just taken down for a loss back at the Bellefontaine 24. But I think that sequence right before halftime, Rick, was really the game.
Yeah, no doubt. And maybe it was going to end up that way anyways, but certainly that was the fork in the road. Looking here, trying to see some guys checking in. It looks like, I'm not as familiar with this fella, Zaid, and tell me if I'm saying this wrong, Zaid Lagon Perez, number 67, is a senior. I think he's new to the program this year. Maybe played last year and I missed him. He's in there for the first time on the D-line.
Okay. This could be the last play of the game. We're down to 50 seconds to go. Alder in front, 42-7. On 4th down, run inside, and Chiefs get a stop, get the ball back, but now there will be a stoppage of the clock to change possession, so that will not be the final play of the game. 39 seconds to go. Alder up 42-7. Here on the HPTV network of the postgame show, Rick will have his player of the game. Also, I'm interested in his thoughts on the season in general, and maybe what are the things that any football team works on after the season as we look ahead to next summer. Now they wind the clock. Chiefs will have to run another play.
They will not have to. The clock is running. Oh, I see. Yeah, play clock.
Play clock.
They got that pesky play clock. I got you.
A lot of the Bellefontaine fans, though, they're here for the duration. They're still here. Pass out in the flat, caught by Zyler Huffman, one of those seniors. Shows off some good speed. Still going forward, and then tackle around zone 47. That should do it. Game clock is down to 9 seconds. Teams will line up at the 50 and shake hands, and Coach Glass's team gets a big win here in Week 10 on senior night as they defeat the Bellefontaine Chiefs 42-7. Alder goes to 9-1. They will be one of the top 4 seeds, it appears. They will get a bye, so they won't have a game next week, but they can certainly get ready for a game in Week 12 of the playoffs. The Chiefs finished their season at 5-5. They did win 3 out of their last 4 games coming into tonight, so they closed with a burst prior to this game. Rick, your thoughts on first just this game tonight?
Well, yeah, I mean, the story is Cashton Wheeler, the player of the game, 18 carries, 270 yards, 4 touchdowns. There's not a whole lot else to say. He was dominant really from about the second series on, and he was dominant at a level that, the Chiefs weren't going to have a whole lot of opportunities to stay in the ball game tonight. I thought maybe there was a chance the game would stay a little tighter than it did, but kind of a combination of Cash Wheeler, a very strong Jonathan Alder defense, and just kind of momentum carrying the Pioneers to a running clock victory.
And the other part is, this will go right in your area, being the old offensive line coach. Their offensive line, Cash Wheeler gets the headlines. I can see why he's your player of the game. I get it. But their offensive line, I thought, was outstanding tonight.
Yeah, I mean, I think just about every phase of the game, by the time we get to the end of the game, you could say was an A performance by the Pioneers.
What do you forecast? And I know we don't know the matchups, but you've seen the team. Just what's Alder's outlook the next few weeks here? I think they're capable of winning a few games.
Yeah, I mean, definitely a strong team. I don't know that region at all. If they were playing, some of the schools we've seen, I would say they'd be very competitive. I don't think it's a team that has any delusions of like Final Four type stuff, but depending on who they end up matching up against, easily could see them winning a game or two.
How about the Chiefs? They finished the year 5-5. No playoffs now, it appears, unless something really goofy happens. But I think that everything would have to line up perfectly. So I won't say mathematically eliminated, but 95% eliminated. I guess at this point. What you make out of their team at a 5-5 season?
Kind of a mixed bag. It's the year after Tavian St. Clair and Braylon Newcomb. You throw him in there as well, and some other guys. Certainly, they lost Jaden Temple and some others, but you knew the team would be down some. I mean, I think that's fair,
yeah.
And there was enough good there that to feel like, hey, we did something that you feel good about. 5-5. That's probably about where I had them. I think we talked, throughout the off season. And I said worst case scenario like a 3-win season, best case scenario a 7-win season. So split the difference and hit 5-5, and that was probably pretty accurate because they won two, really tough games. They probably weren't too far away from being a 3 or 4 win team. Losing Carter Caudill obviously was devastating. I don't know if it cost the Chiefs any games because he wasn't going to save the Chiefs versus London. And, tonight, I know the score, you'd think, well, he's not worth 35 points, but it is a different football team without him. I think this would have been a reasonably competitive game had he played. So, you can't ever account for a devastating injury to a Hall of Fame caliber football player. I mean, one of the best I've seen in the 20 years I've been here. So you just got to note that. But, frustrating at times. I thought the defense came along. We talked about a lot of times they played guys that just weren't ready for varsity football. It's not their fault. Their time came earlier due to injuries to J-Mo Clement, and Caleb Overman spent time out, and Julius Butler spent time out, and they ended up playing freshmen and sophomores on the D-line. And so I saw some good things. I think offensively, I think the best word is frustrating. Just I think it's the team that missed Jake Kennedy. We haven't really talked about him. You talk about people you gain and people you lose every year. They lost their offensive coordinator, the guy that had been with the Chiefs for several years, either as the quarterback coach and or offensive coordinator. Mm-hmm. And he's now at Otterbein, and I'm heading over tomorrow with a group of people to watch Otterbein big-time rivalry at Capitol. I don't know if you're aware of that.
Oh, that is a rival.
Yeah,
yes, sir.
Goes back before Ohio State, Michigan.
Yes.
I wasn't aware of that. But,
yeah.
This team missed Jake Kennedy. They missed him as a quarterback coach. They missed him as a play caller. There was just a lot of clunkiness at times to the offense this year. And I did think, tonight they did not beat themselves nearly to the level that they have in weeks past.
No, that is true.
But it is a transition year. I mean, there's no other way to put it. 5-5, if you said that before the season, you say, yeah, I think I might take it. If that 5-5 included a win over Indian Lake, I think you'd swallow it a little easier. You never want to lose to one of those county rivals. But so then the question is, what's the future look like? It's a young program even next year. Even though they were young this year, they're still kind of young next year. There is some really talented classes coming. If you follow junior high football, the junior high teams did really well. The Pee Wee programs appear to be doing really well. I think there's maybe just a little, and that's kind of how football goes. There was about a 4-year stretch where you had the Riley Neers, the Chris Fogans, the Hayden Manses of the world, and didn't really have those guys this year, but it sounds like they're coming. That 7th grade class in particular is really loaded with a variety of players, quarterbacks, receivers, running backs, linemen. And you come back next year, a little bit different schedule. You replace Westerville Central with Marion Harding, which I think is an interesting matchup. It looks like Harding's a little better. The Presidents are not a bad football team this year, so not necessarily an easy opponent. County teams are going to get better. Indian Lake and Ben Logan, both bring back a ton of good dudes. Urbana, there's really no reason, depending, kind of what everybody does for them, but Grady Lance should be back. The league's not going to be particularly easy. Jonathan Alder's on the up. London's London. So you got a long off season to get busy in 30 days and get in that weight room and change your identity a little bit.
I'll give my quick little take. They got to get better on their lines. They pass block well tonight. They still really didn't run the ball. Not bad, but not like, oh, my gosh, for the other team, we got to stop the run. It wasn't that kind of a rush offense. But they have got to get better at stopping the run. And I know that they lost Carter Caudill. I know he was their heart and soul, but they had a hard time, I think, up front stopping the run. And some of that was just youth. They had young players, but their lines, to me, need to make a big step between now and next year.
There's only one place you do it, and it's on Tuesday mornings in January in the weight room. I mean, it is a weight room game, and you have to match these other teams' physicality, and you do it, rep by rep, set by set, and day by day. And there's no easy answer. You just got to get after it.
Coach, thanks for your time all year.
Thanks, Tips. It was fun.
Thanks to Michael Horvath. Thanks to our director-producer tonight, Derek McNutt, Brian Loretta on stats. Thank all the athletic directors and coaches that helped us throughout the season. Bellefontaine season comes to a close tonight here in Week 10 at Performance Stadium at Jonathan Alder. The final score, one final time on senior night for the Pioneers. Jonathan Alder 42, Bellefontaine 7. The Chiefs go 5-5. The Pioneers are playoff bound at 9-1. For Rick Reed, I'm Bill Tipple saying so long.
At Horvath Productions, we offer specialized wedding films that cater to you and your spouse. With top-of-the-line equipment and storytelling skills, we can assure you that the biggest day of your lives will be captured from start to finish. On top of that, we offer some of the lowest rates in the industry so that you can have the best experience possible without having to give up other important aspects of your event. Visit horvathproductions.com/weddings to see how we can make your memory.
Planning an event? Make it unforgettable with Stocked Event Rentals. From weddings to parties and special events, we've got everything you need to turn your vision into reality. Need seating? We've got chairs and tables. Looking for some fun? Try our yard games like tumbling timbers and yard pong. Don't forget about our stunning frame tents. Perfect for any outdoor gathering. Visit StockedEventRentals.com or call 937-441-3610 to book today. Stocked Event Rentals, where your perfect event starts.